Jim gets out of the way. Conjure's gonna shut him down. It's a double kill for Jim.
Oh my god, Jim!
Looking pretty good. It's gonna be a triple kill. Jim comes on fire. Jim comes on fire. The dart goes to 2-piece! Oh my god!
Trató de darle ese carpetazo ahí con una pelota y rápido se voltea y se
ataque na marotagem, belo ângulo dele!
He's gonna be able to take out. Oh my god! Oh no! He was down to 1 second on the clock!
Já pegou bala na cara do Master. O Almairinho vai tentando fazer o primeiro. Da estátua vai tentar o tiro porrada e bomba! Clutch muito difícil de vencer, mas...
Anywhere on the body that you hit, he no-scope for a follow right there. He no-scope.
termina eliminando a Jack Stewart, queda solamente vivo por parte de repente, sigue la primera baja de este programa, se da cuenta que no
I do apologize, everybody. Yes, I was aware I was muted. I'm in a little bit of a different setup because all of my main equipment has been moved over to the new house, but we don't have power or internet inside of it. So we're making do with what we have right now. As always, we are joined by the one and only Day. Day, how are you doing? It looks pretty lit. I'm pretty excited for that one. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely lots to look forward to We do have all of our players, I believe, loaded in and ready to go for game number 1, so we should be hopping into that momentarily. But as always, we've got some fantastic matchups. We'll go ahead and take a look at our schedule real quick, as we have yet to look at that. So, as you can see, we do have F4 versus Shreddit for game number 1. Nova Invictus versus Exiled, 2 teams that have been in the league a long time. Game number 2. Number 3, we have Tribe Gaming versus Zygnus, which I would honestly consider to be a little bit of a rivalry. I'm definitely looking forward to that one, as there's definitely a lot going on for both of those. I do need to go ahead and get the category changed for the stream. Like I said, this was a little bit last second, just because, as most of you guys know, I have been moving into a house and everything else, and that can get a little bit hectic. But yeah, definitely some great matchups ahead of us tonight, and definitely looking forward to those. One more second, and I think I should be good. Day, which matchup are you most looking forward to? Yeah, I think I got that switched. So hopefully that will take care of itself momentarily. I'm gonna be honest. Laptop is not running at its best right now. I'm trying to get this sorted. I think we're gonna have to run via display capture right now. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and hopefully that is gonna work. And the display capture is not working either. Woo! Yeah. I'm in the game. I cannot, for the life of me, get it to display right now. I'm currently working on that, so I'm sure chat is probably spamming it. Oh, they can't hear you? Alright, fantastic. Alright. I will take care of that. And, can you talk real quick, Dave? Alright. Oh, now?
Hello, testing. This is Day from Mobile Mayhem.
Yep. Alright, you're good now.
Alright.
Yeah, you can go ahead and keep commentating while I try to...
Hey, you're good. For those of you here watching with us today, we are at 106-45. Shreddit leading pretty heavily right now. Time just about, and Will really putting up the numbers. 12 kills for Time, 11 for just about, 10 for Will. 4 Minwoo on the side of F4. Really kind of trying to keep his team in this one. 10 kills for him. Rest of the team definitely struggling a little bit more, down at 5, 1, and 4 for the team respectively. And once again, it's Shreddit clearing on out, getting some starting objective time here on the Hardpoint. Fortunately, Bobby, on Hackney Yard here, we don't have super detrimental crazy respawns in the way that we've seen on Raid. Specifically like Raid and Summit, the Hardpoint respawns have made it very, very challenging for teams to kind of even secure a Hardpoint even after making a good break, because a lot of players spawn, specifically looking at Basketball Court and the Garage, players spawn, basically on the Hardpoint. Hackney Yard so far doesn't seem to be having that issue. Shreddit just absolutely racking it up in the kills department. Time up at 17 now, just about 14, and Will with 15. Keep in mind, guys, we have no operator use at all, and the only score streaks that are usable are the Pred missile and the cluster strike, which we saw Time just call in his Pred a moment ago. Has a cluster strike in the bag, as well as looking at the likes of Oofer with only 9 kills on the board for him, but racking it up in the score department. I do think he has made a little bit of a mistake. We've talked about this a little bit before, Bobby, with running the VTOL as his third perk, as opposed to something that cycles you through your score streaks a little bit better, like the care package. But he does have the Predator missile and the cluster strike available, so we'll have to keep an eye on him and where he's going to use that as well. This is not really, in my opinion, like the greatest map for these two score streaks, but you can definitely use them more strategically than for kills that you would see on a map like Firing Range, for example, where all of the points are a little bit more open versus these being in the buildings. So something to kind of keep in mind as we get through the games and get into different maps. But with over a 100-point lead right now, Shreddit are closing in on victory. They get their last couple points here on the P4 rotation as we get ready to move back on to P1. They are sitting at just about 57 points away from pulling a win, so they can't pull a win off of this Hardpoint, but they can definitely get themselves in a really comfortable position if they're able to continue winning these gunfights the way they have. But as I say that, it actually looks like F4 are going to clean out the Hardpoint and start to close the gap a little bit. They're just now crossing into the territory where they're 100 points behind, so still anybody's time to win here. If they're able to secure some time on the next couple hard points, they could definitely close the gap. But Shreddit, they just keep racking the kills up. And that is a big break for Shreddit there. You have 4 Minwoo up top, picks up a double kill, but not enough to get the remaining members of Shreddit off the point. It did really heavily delay, though. But Shreddit starting to make their rotation over to P2 on the second rotation. And they have a pretty solid defense set up as far as their positioning goes, specifically looking at the way F4 are starting to make that rotation over.
Yeah, I apologize, chat. I've never seen anything like this on any device. I've tried like 7 different display methods, and none of them are working. For those of you wondering what the score is currently, it does look like it's a pretty solid lead for Shreddit, as they, I believe, have about 100 points up right now. So you're not missing out on too much, but I do want to try to get this figured out as soon as possible, and hopefully we'll have that before next game.
Yeah, we should likely be getting ready to boil down towards the end of this game, but F4 are making a pretty solid hold here. They actually do get broken into there, but we do have AO Raph coming in with a big triple kill, almost able to pick up the quad there, but it is time that is going to put an end to his streak. And Shreddit, once again, coming through, kind of fighting over the scrap time on a hard point that wasn't worth it. I would like to see them set up a little bit better of a defense as we moved over to the second rotation onto P3, but they are making their way over there. Modzy does get dropped there. Shreddit picking up a couple extra kills. We do have Will at 25, just about at 27, Time at 27, Salai at 20, and Oofer at 17. We do have 4 Minwoo, 21 on the board. Raph has been able to pick himself up to 20. Modzy with 17. Henry and Ingenic, however, are struggling, just now breaking into the double digits. 11 and 12 kills respectively now as Henry picks up another kill there. But little too late for the side of F4, and that's going to be a great closeout for the side of Shreddit, who win 250 to 152. So pretty solid 100-point lead for a majority of the game there. Excellent play coming out of them. Again, racking up the kills well. Cluster strikes were really honestly spot on. They didn't pick up a lot of kills with them, but they used them tactically to kind of cut off the advance of F4, and that really helped them maintain a lot of control of the map. So excellent played by Shreddit, but F4 have hopefully a chance to turn things around as we get ready to move into Search and Destroy.
Yep. I'm still working on that, so hopefully our teams will have an opportunity to get a couple things adjusted while I try to figure out what's happening here. Just because I didn't see anything that happened, who would you say was the MVP of that one?
You definitely would be looking at the likes of Justibot or Oofer, who Oofer, phenomenal objective control. Didn't rack up the kills the way the rest of the team did. He did sit at 19 and 4 with 17 assists, but 3 minutes and 7 seconds of objective time. He had phenomenal rotations and was really there for the team in the objective stance. Justibot, 30, 17, and 14. Can't complain about numbers like that. Definitely a large portion of what helped them keep that massive lead that they had for a large portion of the game. I am a little bit surprised to see Salai down so low on the board, who had a phenomenal week on Thursday of last week. But, honestly, just the team overall did pretty solid. Looking at the side of F4, we did have Raph have some pretty solid plays here and there, but the consistency was very back and forth. And a lot of that could be due to just how well Shreddit were playing here. But it's definitely a struggle to win Hardpoint. Ingenic and obviously not having the greatest game that he could have here, 12 and 25, and for Henry, 12 and 30. So definitely makes it a little bit difficult, but hey, everybody can have their off day, and definitely got to be looking forward to F4, see how they can develop throughout the rest of the season. Because Bobby, we've seen a lot of teams start off really poorly in the season and can really get things together. And I think one of the big ones is Invictus in our last season. Started off really not looking as good as we expected them to, and then like a rocket ship just took off the second half of the season. So still up for grabs for anybody, but Shreddit going into week 2 looking good.
Yep. Just currently testing out every setting possible in any of the display captures. Trying to see if we can figure out what the issue is here. I'm going to do one more thing real quick. I'm going to go ahead and close out Game Loop, start it back up, and I think that's probably going to be our best shot. So admins, I should be back into the game momentarily right here. Like I said, chat, do apologize. This is not really ever going to be the case again, but the power was on in my new house yesterday and is off today, so got to kind of roll with the punches. The new instance of COD Mobile is loading up right now, and hopefully that is going to fix the issue. looks like it did something. All right, I think we have a solution.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Yep, we're loading in now. It is actually displaying on the screen, so I think that is going to fix our issue. Dropping a couple frames, but likely just because the game is loading up right now. Thank you, everybody, for your patience, or your impatience, whatever it was. Regardless of whether you were patient or impatient, we are still here. And hopefully going to have a fantastic rest of the night. And I'm going to plug in my computer because we definitely do not want to die live on the air. Loading up real quick. Alright, finally in the game, I believe. Wait. Finally almost in the game, I believe.
Hopefully we're getting there. Splinter says he can see Bobby's cam shaking out of fear.
Alright, I'm back and I can see the game in OBS. We're good to go.
Alright. That should definitely make it a better viewing experience for the chat, so.
Yep.
At least they'll have something to watch while they listen to me talk about crap.
I'm sure that was one of the best Mobile Mayhem experiences that chat has had yet.
Probably not. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably not.
Well,
Pretty sure they come for the gameplay much more than any of them come for me, Bobby. Let's be real here.
no, don't say that. You were... Wait, no, you weren't runner-up for Caster of the Year. You should have been runner-up for Caster of the Year.
Everybody's here to watch Zygnus vs. Tribe today. Let's be real.
True. Alright. Well, we weren't even waiting on me because there's still people that aren't even readied up yet, so I don't feel as bad anymore. Shout out to the 340 people that watched me struggle for 15 minutes to try to figure out how to work OBS on a laptop. Alright. Yeah, Zygnus vs. Tribe, definitely going to be a good one. Especially, like, obviously, Tribe will not have Slothy this time, so that's going to change the game significantly for them. And Zygnus has just looked really, really good so far. So, is that the third matchup of the night, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe it is the third matchup of the night, correct.
All right. Definitely should be a good one. We will, I guess now that I have everything figured out, we can run through the maps. Never mind. We're already hopping into the game.
All right. We're getting on in it. Shreddit is definitely a team to watch out for, especially in Search and Destroy. If I do remember correctly, Bobby, Shreddit did beat Zygnus in Search and Destroy of the semifinals. So of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
To clarify, of the qualifiers. Actually, that was the finals of the qualifier, and I'm pretty sure they won. I don't want to say convincingly because Zygnus obviously put up a good fight and really dominated in the respawn modes, but Shreddit definitely showed that they need to be taken seriously when it comes to Search and Destroy. And with a team like F4, who so far has struggled, and again, it seems like they have players that have skill, but you know, perhaps it could be, you know, the new roster, you know, just trying to come together, or you know, whatever the case may be. You definitely would expect them to struggle against a team like Shreddit that, again, seem to work pretty well together. I mean, you watch the rotations, you watch their gunfights, they have the skill and they have the teamwork on top of it. So Shreddit definitely a team to keep an eye out on and see how they're going to evolve as the tournament goes. Because I think Shreddit, while I don't put them at the top, we haven't really seen them compete too much with the teams at the top. Because obviously, again, we're on day 2. But I definitely think this is a team that, you know, having beat Zygnus in the qualifiers, I don't think any team can sleep on them, especially in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, they're looking really strong so far. Only 2 total kills going in so far for the other team. And as I say that, we actually see Shreddit pretty much falling apart. Just about going to be the only player alive. And he is not going to be able to stay alive for very long. As we do have the quick bounce back to tie things up at 1-1.
It was great work coming out of F4 there, but you know, still a long way to go. Anybody's game. If Shreddit are able to close it out in the end, they'll pick themselves up 20 points. And if F4 are able to pull a Search to Destroy win together here, they at least lock themselves into 5 points, maybe up to 15 if they were able to win a game 3. So some scoring changes this season, guys. I know we haven't touched too much on the scoring changes, a little bit more on the actual gun bans and things of that nature, but definitely an important factor. You know, you're not at as much of a loss if you go down fighting and push it to game 3 and still lose.
Yep. It looks like Raph is going to drop right there, so I'm going to be able to pick up the bomb. Very interesting that we don't have a ban on the QQ9 for this matchup. That's a gun that has been banned in every matchup that we've seen so far this season, just because after the buff that it got, it is without a doubt the best gun in the game. But looks like both teams feeling pretty confident in their ability to dominate with that gun, and obviously so far things seeming to go the way of Shreddit, but only being up 1 round. Tough to say at this point, as we do have a pretty aggressive push for F4 right here. Looks like they will be able to get the bomb down pretty early with no players down. And as I say that, Henry's going to drop to Will. Smoke's going to go on in. Pressure being applied. Shreddit looking pretty good. 2 very weak players. Justabout's going to get both of those frags. 1 player on the inside of 4 corners. Raph's going to stay alive for a little bit longer. I'm surprised he's still standing, but they're going to be able to slide in real quick. Time's going to be able to get the defuse right here. And just like that, Shreddit takes the 3-1 lead.
Yeah, Shreddit doing great right now. As you mentioned, they kind of fell apart a little in the second round, but, you know, it's definitely looking pretty solid for them right now, and you definitely can't win them all. And, you know, we've seen big comebacks happen. I mean, again, during our qualifier matchups, we had like a 5-round reverse sweep coming for believe that was Exiled versus Zygnus. So you know, you gotta give F4 credit. If they're gonna put the work in, we have to give them the benefit of the doubt here that they could pull together a win. They could push us to game 3. Again, they would pick themselves up at minimum 5 points. That would be really strong for them starting out in the season, as again, you know, a lot of teams are new rosters. A lot of teams are really kind of trying to work the kinks out. And you know, again, we expect big things, and for Minwoo specifically, seems like an incredibly strong player for this F4 lineup. So only time will tell.
Yeah, he's been able to find 5 so far. Raph actually missed a lot of shots on the player top statue right there. That's going to cost Modzy, and we might have had an accidental suicide nade right there. I don't think that was intentional. It looks like Raph is going to be able to get the plant right there, so he's actually going to get picked by Time, who's got a sniper in hand. Minwoo trying to stay alive. He's got that QQ9 and probably just trying to play the head glitch for as long as he possibly can, force Time to try to reposition here, and maybe be able to catch him off guard and prevent him from getting that defused. It seems like Minwoo wasn't aware that he was on the flank of Driveway, but he's going to get spotted right there. Time does miss the shot. Not going to be able to land the second quick scope either. Time is dwindling. It seems like he's had just about forever, and a little bit surprised that Minwoo took as long as he did. But it is going to be F4 taking that round to move things to 3-2.
Clearly, it was out of fear. That Minwoo played so defensively there, but he played it smart. He played the clock to his ability, so that even if he did lose the gunfight, I think there was like 7 seconds, 8 seconds there at the end, if I saw correctly, before the round win screen came through. But really, really excellent play out of him again. One of like the key players over on the side of F4, sitting up at 6 kills, tying the likes of Time and JustABot. But we are now in the 6th round. That is switching sides. We have Shreddit up 1 over F4. So again, do not count F4 out. And just with that, we also have Henry picking up a first blood, dropping Salai, who was honestly one of the more consistent players for Shreddit, in my opinion, as far as we saw last week. So we'll have to see as this game develops. But JustABot able to pick up a kill onto Raph and onto Curves. Will gets Minwoo as he tries to duck around the corner, not quite able to make it. And now Henry, who did pick up the first blood for his team, is now in a rough situation as he up against 4 members of Shreddit, and Will is going to find the kill, pushing us to a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, things looking pretty good for Shreddit right now. The switch over to the offensive side definitely not hurting them too much. And JustABot, as usual, hard carrying. If I had to guess, I would say we probably have a ban on the QXR. And that's probably the reason we see JustABot using the QQ9 right now, because typically the QXR has actually been his go-to, which is likely a reason that they decided.
We do have F4 with the ban on the QXR and Shreddit with the ban on the DRH.
All right. That to a certain extent it makes sense, but I almost feel like JustABot mains the QXR because the QQ9's usually banned. Because the QQ9 is basically just an upgraded version of the QXR, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see whether or not that's one that pays off. We do have Time finding a sniper right there onto Henry. 26 seconds remain. 3 players remain for each team, and right now Time trying to find another shot onto Mozzie, not able to make it happen on top of Laundry. He's going to get pushed right here. Hits the quick scope. Oofer finds one onto Minwoo. Curves all by himself. Not going to be an easy clutch. He gets the first one with the pistol, but only 6 seconds. Will's got the HVK, and that's going to be another round going in for Shreddit.
Yeah, Shreddit now in a comfortable position. They have essentially a 3-game cushion where they just need to pick up 1 out of the next 4 rounds. But again, F4 have been able to find rounds where they're able to make good rotations together. I thought that last round was going to be good for them, especially with Henry picking up the opening pick, but things just fell apart so drastically for them there. I think they need to play it a little bit slower, play a little bit more to your win condition, which right now for them is on defense. Again, this is kind of playing your conditions, as we do have all of Shreddit just kind of hanging out in the bedroom. Not sure what's going on with that, but I feel like someone's going to walk into just a gauntlet of bullets.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting strategy. And it's one that we've seen previously, but that was back before we had a ban on snipers, especially back when you could have like 5 snipers on a team. So I think we saw NL do it one time, but they basically had like 5 Arctic 50s all sitting up in that room looking for a pick. This time it's just Time trying to find one, and they are finally going to push up, but with only 24 seconds to do it, they definitely put themselves in a sticky situation. And just as I say that, they find 3, 4, 5 kills, and it's going to be a win for Shreddit, and they are going to take the 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and again, Shreddit did seem like a pretty strong search and destroy team when we saw them last week, so we'll have to see moving forward if that continues to be the case. Or if it's just been the opponents that they've faced. I mean, they played, I think, Vitro last week, and then they're up against F4 this week. So obviously, other new teams to the league, we haven't really seen them in the likes of, up against a Levante, up against an NL, up against a Tribe. So it's really just hard to say right now. We did see them play up against Zygnus. And again, did quite well in the search and destroy, but they definitely, I think, with the limited footage that we have from them, I definitely think that I think the easiest way to put it is they need to work on the rotations more for respawn.
Yeah.
They look great during search and destroy. They're watching each other's corners. I think a lot of them sitting up in the balcony bedroom there was, I believe, Salai disconnected and they were waiting on a reconnect there. So instead of pushing up, knowing that the defense was going to be waiting, they waited for their fifth, and they made the rotation to basketball court as a team and had a really, really clean push where they were able to pick up the kills pretty one-sidedly. So just about really not just the MVP for Search and Destroy here, but the MVP for the series, in my opinion, rocking a 10-4-2 for Search to follow up his big hardpoint performance as well.
Yep. That is it for game number 1. We're going to go ahead and run an ad, and after that, we will be right back with you. We are back at it and getting ready to hop in to game number 2. Definitely going to be another solid one. Nova Invictus versus Exiled. This is a very different Exiled team from what we've seen in past seasons, but definitely capable of really good things. And obviously Nova Invictus, we've talked about a lot as one of those teams that started off slow last season, but really started to pick things up. Day, I know you've been keeping track of stats. Are there any notable stats that we need to be aware of for this matchup?
So I have all of the stats written down, and I did them at work today, but apparently my work computer did not have my sheet on online mode, so it never updated for me to do it here. But I actually do still have all of the numbers on my iPad, so I can jump through real quick. We have what it's where'd we go? Invictus versus Exiled. So let me pop on through real quick. For Exiled, we definitely want to be looking out. Xfall didn't have a great great day on Thursday, but he had a good day on the Tuesday matchups in the qualifiers. So definitely keep an eye out for him. But as far as their Thursday performance, it was definitely on Sleepyhead. So keep an eye out for those two guys. Obviously, we also have Raballo for them, who's been a pretty consistent player in Mobile Mayhem season after season. I've said a couple times that Raballo is one of my favorite players to watch because he plays smart and he plays consistent no matter what roster he's on. And I think if Exiled work around that strength, I think this is a team that does have a lot of potential. And then looking at the opposition, obviously Invictus, as we've mentioned several times, a team that struggled the first couple weeks of last season and then really exploded. You're going to be looking at the likes of mostly Band had a great season last season, but as well Parrish. Also, Desi, I think, is a player that a lot of people sleep on. But I've seen a lot of development from Desi over the seasons from when I, realistically first started casting with you, Bobby, up till now. It's a drastic difference. So still working on the improvements, but I think it'll be a good asset for them to have.
Yeah, he's definitely not one of the players that we talk about a lot, but he's been very, very consistent, and I think you can see his improvement going basically parallel with the improvement that we've seen for Nova Invictus. So he's never one of those players. Well, every once in a while he'll be the player that top ranks and carries the team, but for the most part, he's just a really consistent guy that you can count on to be one of those key role players, and definitely expect to continue to see that from him.
Well, so this team beat Trovo Mayhem on Thursday, and pulling up the numbers, again, Desi is a player that I think is way overly slept on as far as the competitive players in the league, as well as a lot of the viewers in chat. But Up against the Trovo Mayhem, Desi put up a 35-28 Hardpoint Summit game last week, and then did struggle a little bit in Search and Destroy. So that is something to kind of keep in mind as we develop through the season. I will be keeping up to date with you guys a little bit better this season on the KDs of all the players. I have it broken down per game mode, overall KDs, and everything of that sort. So as we get a little bit further in and we develop some more actual numbers to go off, we'll be able to point out more specifically which players we need to watch out for in certain matchups, as well as what game modes they excel in. But again, Desi, great performance for his team in Hardpoint Summit last week, as well as Perish and Envy really did phenomenal as well. And I think, Hua also dropped 30 kills in that game. So just really well played from them. And again, big things expected from them this season. A lot of their roster is the same, returning from the previous season, now moving into spring of 2021. So I think they're a team to watch out for.
Yep, for sure. We do have everybody loaded in. We'll take a look at the maps and the bans real quick. Let me locate it. So, as far as our weapon bans, we do have a ban. This is not updated, so we're just going to back on out of that one, and we'll figure out the maps and the bans as we get into them. Admins, if we do get that updated, just ping me, and I will take a look at that whenever it does get there. Oh, and I actually do have it in Discord, so wait, nope, I'm getting too far ahead now. Invictus versus Exiled. No Invictus banning the QQ9, Exiled banning the DRH. Not really anything surprising to see right there. QQ9 is a gun that you pretty much expect to be banned in every matchup. We may see some changes. Obviously, we do have the new update coming, I believe, a week from today, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to have some of the biggest balance changes pretty much in COD Mobile history, and definitely going to be a fun one to look at, especially in regards to how it affects the competitive scene and everything else. I know one thing a lot of people are excited about is, number one, the nerf to snipers, just because the ADS time is so fast right now, but also some more balancing to assault rifles. I think this is one of the seasons where we've actually seen people consistently use SMGs, and probably going to be even more the case following those buffs and nerfs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Bobby. And, again, I think while the... my game crashed. I think while the rule changes that we have in this season are obviously very drastic. I mean, this is like a totally different experience, I guess is the best way to put it. I really like that it boils a lot of it down to just the raw skill of the players, as well as there's less room for error and teamwork. And I think that is what spring 2021 is going to define the most for these teams, is the teamwork of the players, because you're not going to have things like a VTOL that you can just play by yourself and camp up for kills and rack up the kills in the second half of a domination. You're not going to have Goliaths that can single-handedly hold down a lot of those hard-to-break hard points, especially with the hard point respawn changes. So I do think, again, it's going to take a lot of time for several people, including myself, to get used to some of the rule changes, because it's just so different. But I think this really brings us to the core of what Call of Duty should be. It's the teamwork between the two teams to see what the better team win, not the team that played as individuals, played for score streaks, and then snowballed off of score streaks.
Yeah. Definitely, and I think that's what Mobile Mayhem has slowly evolved into, especially since Champs, because Champs, the only rule that Champs had was no NA-45s, which, while that is a good rule, there's definitely a lot more that are needed in order to make it a balanced playing field. So the removal of persistence, allowing teams to ban different guns, removal of operators is definitely an interesting one, and one that I could go either way on, just because it is sometimes entertaining. to see how, number one, some players use operators in unique ways, but also it does give the opportunity for breakout plays and definitely just some huge game-changing things depending on how you utilize it. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what the players in Mobile Mayhem want. They wanted it to be about the gun skill, about the strategy, and that's what we've got as we hop in to game number 1. We got X-Fall setting up in trailer right now, getting ready to spray on through the smoke. Lands a couple bullets, not enough to find a kill. His teammate Zealot actually going to find one. Sleepyhead with a 2-piece right there. Nova Envy finding a couple for himself, but definitely a pretty solid start here for Exiled.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely open to a good start. Again, we would have expected Nova to have an edge here, and it still may develop to be the case. This is the first hardpoint on a map where the first hardpoint is fairly open and susceptible to being seen from any respawn in this map within a second or two. So really kind of a difficult one to hold down consistently. It's going to be as we start moving into our P2 is a pretty big deciding one on this map, as well as P4. So we'll have to see how that goes. Kind of one of the historic things about this map is obviously pretty much every building on this map is wall bangable. So in the past, we've seen things like the chopper really excel on firing range. LMGs are banned this season. So again, it's going to boil down to the run and gun skill of the teams. That is one of my less enjoyed changes. I don't really think that the LMGs were realistically overpowered, and I think they did offer a lot of versatility to how you played certain maps, like firing range, like Scrapyard is another good one. So not my favorite change, but I think it keeps the pace of the game going pretty well.
Yeah, I think there were probably a couple changes that the players implemented just because that's the way that the CDL is. Which, on one hand, I kind of understand because you do... That's basically what you're looking to replicate, but on the other hand, metas in different games are very, very different, so... I'm interested to see what type of rule set we'll have in place whenever it comes to champs. We know that the COD Mobile esports channel did officially launch, I believe, last week, so hopefully we'll have news about champs coming in soon. But once we do get an actual rule set for that, I think we'll definitely start to see a lot more solidify, and it'll be less about, hey, let's just do what the CDL does, and more of mobile actually having its own unique rule set, which I think is definitely going to be cool just because it'll really set it apart from other competitive scenes.
Yeah, and you know, you definitely bring up a good point of trying to mirror the rule set of the CDL because, you know, that's kind of the end goal idea here, and it makes sense. But so, you know, as we develop into this game a little bit more right now, I'm actually surprised to see Exiled with the lead over Invictus the way that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's still a lot of time on the board, but I mean, I could have seen this being an even game, right? I'm not trying to trash Exiled or anything like that. But I definitely didn't see Exiled having a 70-point lead in the first couple minutes of the game. So we'll definitely have to see as the game develops if Nova are able to get their things together. We do have Parrish struggling a little bit down at 3 kills right now. But we also have X-Fall struggling down at 3 kills. Very slight kill lead in favor of Exiled currently, with once again Sleepyhead and Rehan being a couple of the players to help carry the team through here with 14 and 12 kills respectively. They get 15 for Sleepyhead as he picks one out in that 1v3 there.
Yeah, for me it's less that I didn't expect Exiled to have the 70-point lead, but more that I didn't expect Nova and Invictus to be at a 70-point deficit. Especially given the way they performed last week against Trovo Mayhem. I mean, that roster is very, very similar to the team that won champs and the team that I don't think dropped a map to them. So, definitely intrigued at how closely, or really how dominantly Exiled has played this so far. As Rehan finds yet another frag right there. Sleepyhead already up to 17 kills, and We talked about this last week, but with the new hardpoint spawns, it really does all come down to winning your gunfights. And right now, when you look at it, with the exception of Xfall, everybody having a phenomenal game for Exiled. And if Xfall starts to get into a little bit of a groove, we may actually have Nova Invictus in trouble. As we do have Band having a pretty solid game so far, 16 kills on the board for him. But outside of that, nobody really having a breakout performance. He's actually going to get beamed from above by Rihan, who was able to take tower control for a second, gets taken out, but Zealot's still alive on the hill.
Yeah, and the gap has closed a little bit, and Nova have, again, kind of brought themselves a little bit more together, but we still have a pretty solid lead for the side of Exiled, and I'll tell you what, Band really starting to rack up the kills. He was sitting down quite a ways under Sleepyhead earlier in this game, and he is now up 1 kill behind Parrish as well, picking things up. Now up at 9. We just saw him a minute ago down at 3, so really helping his team start to get the grasp and try to pull a comeback together here. Band picking up another kill onto Uzu there. Is going to take the lead for top kills among all players as Sleepyhead does tie him up there. But this is now within a 20-point game. And again, Exiled, they had a 70-some point lead here not too long ago. So Nova really starting to come through, work together as a team. They've gotten some better rotations. They've had some really good collapses onto hardpoints as well, making sure that several angles had to be covered and punished Exiled where they weren't ready to defend from. But Uzu, solid cleanup there from him. Keep Nova off of that hardpoint. Gonna re-extend their lead a little bit, but we're still sitting just over a 20, almost 30-point lead for the side of Exiled at this point.
Yeah, that was a really big two-piece for them, but Decipher waiting in the doorway. The AK-117, more and more appearances, and it's definitely showing out right now. 16 for Decipher. Band with 22, and slowly but surely, Nova Invictus has climbed their way back into this game. We do have a lot of Exiled players on the backside right there. Decipher wins the first gunfight, not going to be able to win the second. Zealot staying alive inside of the hard point. Exiled can be able to extend that lead a little bit. And it seems they know where to expect players spawning in. We've got so many players outside. Nobody able to make any type of push on in. Parrish pretty low on HP. There's a cryo bomb on the doorway and everything else. Right now, a really, really crucial hold going in for Exiled, who was only up by about 10 points, but they were able to extend this closer to 30, and definitely going to set them up really well for the push on into P4.
And we're gonna have to see again. Exiled still pretty comfortably in the lead. I mean, they're not a whole hard point ahead, but for a matchup that we thought all day would have been in the lead for Nova, you've got to be proud of Exiled here, specifically looking at Sleepyhead, Uzu, and Rihan, who are sitting at 25, 21, and 22. And if you look across the board, the kills really not heavily in either favor. In fact, I think Nova have a couple more kills as far as the overall standings go, and they do tie things up here. But that just shows how well Exiled have worked together here through the first half of the game. Even now, with things tied up, there's a stalemate on the hard point currently, about 20 seconds almost, where neither team has picked up a point, and it's still going on before finally Nova make the break, and we'll get the little bit of a trickle here at the end of this hard point. But you know, again, Exiled have came and proved that they are here and mean business, and you know, not a really comfortable lead for Nova, considering they would have for sure been the favorites to win this game leading into the matchup.
Yeah, Nova has definitely picked it up a lot, and one thing we actually do have to keep an eye on, I believe I saw a cluster strike for somebody. So we have a Pred missile in the hands of Hua. Decipher doesn't have anything, so it was just the Pred missile that I saw, but that could very well be a game changer, especially if we do see a big stack on an open hard point like P1. Expect for that to go in for sure, and the movement from Zealot was just a little bit too much for Envy. Parrish can be able to win the gunfight on the hill. gets taken out. Sleepyhead just going in right now. 33 kills on the board. And we've still got a good amount of time to go in this game. Ban not too far behind with 30 himself, but it's definitely Nova Invictus that's starting to show out in the kills department, as you can see. Everybody into the 20s, and actually just now everybody moving into the 20s for Exiled too. But it is going to be a 10-point lead forming for them as we get ready to move into P2.
Yeah, still a very, very close game. We do have Nova, as you mentioned, a little bit shinier in the kills department right now. But Sleepyhead just really doing his best to keep the team going. Parrish and Xfall, who, you know, were sitting down kind of at the beginning and were players that I had mentioned you needed to watch out for, have massively turned things around this game. They're now catching up with all of the players in the game for the most part, with the exception of the Outlowers, right? Again, you know, Sleepyhead 34, Rehan 32, Band 32, and Envy 33. But, you know, again, big turnaround for those guys. Still within 10 points right now. It is Nova in control. And Envy's really been putting it through with, you know, a gun that has historically been pretty off meta. He does have the LK24 out, so again, some of these rule changes making guns that we wouldn't normally see meta maybe come through a little bit more, whether it's just for comfort, whether it's for accuracy as opposed to damage, whether it's you know, looking for more of those range advancements, as we do see the HVK picking up the kill trade over Envy there in the close range matchups. But man, what a game this is turning out to be, Bobby. Still within 10 points, although it is Nova with control currently of the trailer. We do have Zealot spawning in, coming through, picking up a kill onto Envy there. And this is where Exiled really need to pull it together. They started off looking great, and it has been still going well. Again, even game, but they need to turn things around here as we get into these last hardpoint or two.
Yeah, it's so odd. The beginning of the game was where we had the biggest deficit. It started off with a 70-point lead, and then ever since then, everything has been pretty much within 20 to 30 points the entire time. Sleepyhead gets a slide onto the point. Finds a two-piece right there. That was beautiful. I think he actually picked up the enemy's gun, and now he's using it on him. That's 3 straight kills for him. Make it 4. Can he make it 5? Nova Hua finally able to take him out right there. But 42 kills on the board for Sleepyhead. And Envy's not too far behind. He's got 40 himself right now. Just an absolute slay fest. And still tough to say who's going to come out on top in this one. We do see Nova Invictus building a little bit of a lead right here. They've got it up to 20, which is one of the biggest leads that they've had so far. And right now, not a whole lot of frags going the way of Exiled. We have Sleepyhead trying to stay alive. Not going to be able to do it. Parrish able to take him out right there. No time going in for Exiled, and it looks like it may be too little too late. Parrish's positioning up top of wood just too good right now, and the Pred Missile will seal the deal, as we do have Nova Invictus coming out on top in game number 1.
Yeah, and you can definitely see in the scoreboard, Bobby, how much the hardpoint respawns have changed. Realistically, the whole way hardpoint can be played. I think firing range, the hardpoint changes is actually pretty solid. Again, we've talked a little bit about certain maps like Raid and Summit suffering quite a bit with what I believe to be an overcorrection of their stated fix of players spawning too far from the hardpoint. I think there's definitely an overcorrection on a couple maps. Firing range seemed really solid. It kept the pace of the game going. But we see several players breaking into the 30 and 40 kill mark. And even those who didn't break 30, very, very close. Uzu with 28, Xfall with 25. So really shows how the pace of Hardpoint has changed. But Nova, honestly, started off pretty rough. Again, they were sitting down 70 points at one point, and were able to come back and swing essentially a approximately a 30-point win there. So big turnaround for them. And again, it's what you expect out of a team that we expect to be one of the top teams this season, just based off of their roster and how they performed last season. So really big game coming out of them. I would have liked to see them again going off of the numbers and the experience of seeing these players in action. I would have liked to see them with a little bit more comfortable lead, as I again referred to them as one of the stronger teams. But
yeah, that was definitely a much closer matchup than I anticipated we were going to see. It also gives me hope that we might have a pretty close search and destroy here too. Obviously, the experience for Nova Invictus is going to be a pretty big advantage as we get ready to hop into search and destroy on Meltdown. That is one that, especially the top teams in the competitive scene, have scrimmed on for a really, really long time. It was one of the champs maps. And obviously, I think Nova Invictus was top 3 in champs, if I'm not mistaken. Right behind Exiled, but definitely expect to have them using very definitive strategies, and maybe a little bit more uncertainty over on Exiled is sometimes for teams that don't quite know what they want to do. We'll see them, especially on offensive rounds, sit back and play it a little bit more passive. Definitely expect to see much more decisive moves from Nova Invictus. But we know that Exiled can frag out. So if they need to frag out, they'll frag out. We'll see if they can make it happen right here. We are getting ready to hop into game number 2. And I'm checking to see if the BO3 map is updated. I don't think that it is. So I'll have to go to Discord to give you guys, if we go to a game 3, it's going to be on Hackney Yard.
Yep, for our next matchup, as you mentioned, we'll have Search and Destroy on Meltdown. And if we go to a game 3, it'll be Hackney Yard. And Meltdown is definitely one of those exciting Search and Destroy maps that I never liked playing. Meltdown Search and Destroy. Well, I actually realistically never enjoyed playing Meltdown. If I'm gonna just be honest with you, I was just really bad at it. It's not that the map is bad, I was just really bad at it.
Yeah, I feel that. I've never felt confident on Meltdown Search and Destroy.
It's a really good map to watch competitively, though, because it offers so much versatility in how you can play, because you realistically have 3 very defined channels of how you can rotate. You have mid, which you have an upper and lower deck. You have A, which is going to favor your more close range guns. With the ban on shotguns this season, obviously you're going to be looking at those players that excel with guns like the QQ9, for example, even the MP7, which I can't remember off the tip of my tongue right now, QXR. Obviously 2 really strong guns for A pushes. However, you also have B on the opposite side of the map, again, along a long corridor, where it really favors the team with the heavy sniping potential. So what we'll often see on this map specifically, and why I think it's such a competitively good map, is the offensive team can really dictate the pace of the game and how it's going to be played. So we will have to see, moving into this matchup, who is going to take the lead there. Obviously, again, we would expect Nova to have a little bit of an edge over Exiled here. But I think that first matchup of Hardpoint is more than proof enough to show that Exiled, even though there's several new names here that are unfamiliar to the competitive scene, are a team that can compete towards the top of the spectrum when they bring their A game.
Without a doubt, I did not expect a whole lot out of this team. I hadn't really heard of anybody. I think I had played ranked with a couple people on the team, and was never really super impressed, but they have definitely showed out in their first few days of Mobile Mayhem, and are definitely going to be a team to be contended with. The switch to phone has definitely... I thought that it was going to increase the gap between the top and the bottom teams, but I think it's actually closed it a lot, just because it has forced a lot of people to specialize and really, really grind the actual game mechanics, their gun skill, and everything else. And I'm definitely excited to see how they continue to improve on that. I think we've got... Nope, we're waiting for one more player to ready up before we are good to go. But yeah, definitely expect to see a lot of these teams continue to improve, especially as we get closer and closer to champs. And once we start to see whatever prize money is going to be on the line, definitely start to expect some of the bigger outside teams to get involved, as well as obviously the first year of Call of Duty Mobile esports was just a little bit weird. It was COVID. It was there was just a lot of uncertainty, but especially with this being the second year, a lot more certainty involved. I'm excited to see what moves are going to be made as things do start to move forward.
Sorry, I was just recording some numbers again. I want to have all of that fine-tuned for you guys so that actually starting on Thursday, not even next week, I want to be able to start breaking down everybody's KDAs and stuff. So just kind of keeping some notes for you guys. And as we get ready to head into Search and Destroy between Invictus and Exiled, you would hope that Exiled can come through with just as strong as of a performance, if not stronger, than they had in the Hardpoint matchup, potentially push us to a Game 3. But if Invictus are able to pick up another win here, they would lock themselves in 20 points. And, next up, we do have that match you guys have all been waiting for our matchups of the night, Tribe versus Zygnus. So, depending on how Exiled perform here, we'll see when we're going to get into that one.
Yep, we got everybody here, and it does look like Nova Invictus is going to be on the offensive side off the start. We'll see if they do have that confidence. Definitely expect a full send to whichever side they go to, and it does look like it is going to be A right here. And it looks like we got a pretty solid A defense on the opposite side as well. So it's about to get real chaotic real quick. 2 frags, 3 frags. Wow. What a start for Nova Invictus right there. Hua gets the trophy system kill. 4 players down for Exiled, and that's going to be an easy plant. Rehan in a 1v3 with a bomb down. Got to try to clutch up right here. He does have a sniper in hand, so if you got
not the most favorable weapon to have.
I was going to say, if there's any weapon you want to 1v3 with, I would say it's a sniper, but
I don't think with the bomb being on A, it's the most ideal situation.
Those pillars definitely make it a little bit tricky to snipe on this.
The pillars, the corners, the fact that it's 3 players. He does pick up 1, but we might see a back kill coming through for Hua there. And that is going to be round 1 going over to the side of Invictus.
Yeah, not the way you want to go out in round 1. That was actually 3 kills in total for Hua in round 1. 1 back kill, 1 trophy system kill, and 1 gun kill. So a very well-rounded round 1 as we do now see the push over to the opposite side, B. It looks like Nova Invictus trying to keep this Exiled team on their heels. It looked like they were actually doing so, but it's actually Rehan with a sniper in hand able to take out Band right there. I don't think that they're aware that Hua's up in the sniper's nest. Not sure I love the early peek from him. That's going to be another easy frag for Rehan. He's now got 3 kills on the board. Only 2 players remain. 1. Ooh, Rehan pulls out the pistol. He misses. Too many shots. It's a 1v1. Xfall versus Envy right here. Things falling apart. Envy having a huge round, but he's only got 3 HP. That could open things up for Xfall. He's going to go for the defuse. I think he might be able to get it. Envy went a little bit too far away, but he gets it just in time. And it's going to be Nova Invictus coming out on top in round number 2 as well.
Yeah, Invictus looking pretty strong right now, unfortunately for the side of Exiled, who looked like they had the upper hand that round, and it just quickly fell apart as we had, obviously, Envy rocking it and Hua rocking it for the side of Nova Invictus. Now sit up with a comfortable 2-0 cushion. Still anybody's game, but a very aggressive B-side plant, and I do like that Nova did switch it up here. We saw a pretty aggressive A-side defense come out of the side of Exiled, but pretty much just opened the free pass to Nova. Typically, if you are going to make a hard A-side defense, you typically would still trail your sniper behind a little bit on this map, because, again, the sniper just doesn't provide a ton at that A side flag, so you can look for that rotation, call the team over, and after a couple seconds, if they don't see anything going on, you can make that mid push up towards the A side, potentially find a pick through mid. So we'll have to see if they play that defense a little bit stronger through next time. But right now it's Rihan versus Parrish in a 1v1. No time to get the defuse, but it doesn't matter anyway. Parrish picks up the kill. 3-0 now. Favor of Invictus, who are looking to close this out and pick themselves up 20 points, potentially with a 2-0 victory.
You know, Rihan has been sniping really well, but I didn't love his approach on that round right there. He basically just sat by the bomb and waited for the other player to peek, and especially when you only got 7 seconds on the clock, you got to try to create something, because otherwise he's just going to sit behind generators like he did and get the easy win. We do see Parrish finding first blood right there. Xfall is going to drop in Nova Invictus once again, having the advantage. They've already got the bomb down onto A, and the pressure is on for Exiled once again. Uzu, only 1 kill on the board, as well as Zealot. Rihan, once again, my gosh. His snipes are on point right now. Another 2-piece right there. It looks like we might actually get a defuse right here, as Sleepyhead was on the bomb. He gets spotted. Things falling apart again. Time and time again, Exiled has a man advantage. So many players on site, and they just can't seem to close things out. Ban's going to find the frag there once again. And I think that's multiple rounds. We've had at least a 2-man advantage for Exiled, and they just haven't been able to get those final kills to close out the round.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. Exiled showed up big in Hardpoint like we didn't expect them to. And then coming through Search and Destroy, they've had several rounds where Rihan has just been able to put them in a position where they should have the lead, and it just all rapidly falls apart for them at that point. This time it's Uzu picking up first blood onto Envy, a really solid pick coming out of him. Envy with 6 kills, leading the team. So anytime you're taking down the top fragger for the enemy, that's even if you trade out, that's usually a good trade for you. Picking up the kill onto Rihan. So as I just talk about picking off the player with the top kills on the enemy team, both of them are down now. So still anybody's round. It is the last round of offense for the side of Nova. Bomb is currently down, but realistically even worse for them, in a dangerous position for them to try to rotate in here, especially in a 4 versus 3. Make it 4 versus 2. Make it a 2 versus 2, a 1 versus 1. People are dropping left and right, but in the end, it's Uzu picking up the kill onto Desi there. And that is the first round. I believe so. Wow. So picking up Exiled's first round there. And perhaps stopping the momentum that Invictus were really running away from. And that was real difficult to watch, just in that it was like every time I tried to switch to spectate somebody, it was dead on both sides.
This has been such a crazy game so far, because if you look at the kill count, there's not really that much separating these teams. It's been pretty close coming down to the end of every single one of them. And for the most part, it's just been that Exiled has not been able to close out their rounds. We see Rihan still alive right here. He's got 8 kills on the board. Hits another snipe onto Desi. My gosh. Hits a follow-up onto Hua. He can have a 1v3 on his hands if he plays it as right. Parrish now on the inside of the pizza slice. We do have the bomb down over at the top of A. That's not going to be an easy pickup for Rihan, but with the way he's sniping right now, anything's possible. He's going to pick up the HVK as well. And if he had his sniper out right there, he probably could have had the pick, but unfortunate timing for him. He's going to go up to the top, pick up the bomb right here, and could have an opportunity to go for the plant. I don't think he's going to. Obviously, Parrish probably going to make a push in right here. And we do see at least the attempt going in on the bomb plant. I think he might get spotted, and really unfortunate timing for Rihan. COD timing, if you will, as Parrish slides on in, finds the frag, and just like that, Nova Invictus 1 round away from closing out the 2-0.
Yeah, and what was looking like potentially a good turnaround for the side of Exiled is now once again looking just solid for Nova Invictus, who are sitting just 1 round away from picking up a 2-0 victory. And again, looking back at the qualifiers, we saw a 5-round reverse sweep coming from actually it was Exiled who reverse swept Zygnus in the Search and Destroyer, essentially reverse swept with a 5-round turnaround. So they absolutely could come back here. We've seen it done by them before, but up against Nova, definitely going to be a difficult team to try to make that a reality, especially as Nova are picking up kills left and right. Xfall just flat out losing the gunfight there, not looking great. Zealot did pick up a double kill, but unable to close it on out, as we did have Envy pick up that kill. And that is going to be a 6-1 win for the side of Nova. Invictus, that's going to pick them up 20 points, which, they got to feel good about turning that around from how sloppily the Hardpoint started off.
Yep.
They very strongly turned things around, took the lead, and while it was back and forth, they were able to lock down that win. And again, that's going to be a 20-point pickup for them, which is going to, I believe, set them up to 35, because I think they won 2-1 on Thursday. I'm trying to look back at my notes. Correct. They won 2-1 against Mayhem.
Yeah.
So they've got to be feeling pretty good. I think that puts them pretty close to the top of the leaderboards. Obviously, we still have Tribe and Zygnus yet to play. Both of those teams are sitting with 20 points each. So I think Nova and Invictus might be second, because Shreddit won 2-0 today. So yeah, Shreddit is currently in first place with 40, I believe. Invictus in second with 35. And the deciding factor will be for Division 1, this next matchup between Tribe and Zygnus, who are each at 20 points. That'll decide who is going to bump up into that third place spot. Obviously, 20 points on the line. A 2-1 this season, guys, keep in mind, can net you 15 points, and the losing team 5 points instead of the 10-0. So big score changes, and I think that'll actually have a pretty solid impact on the standings this season.
Yeah, really good composure for Nova Invictus, as we had a few rounds right there where it very well could have gone the opposite way, and with the way things were going, could have ended up in an Exile win, but those players left in the tough situations, able to clutch things up, win where they needed to, and definitely a much-needed win for them. Day, whenever your face would like to rejoin us.
Oh, yep, that's my bad.
All good.
That is a big unfortunate for Zygnus, though, Bobby.
Wait, what is?
Zygnus is starting the series down 0-1.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So they missed check-in.
By 45 minutes.
That's, 40, you give them a little bit of leeway, but 45 minutes is a long time to miss check-in by. So, their warning is a 1-map penalty, and definitely one that Tribe will gladly accept, as they are definitely looking to make their way up to the top of the leaderboards, and that's going to make things just a little bit easier. Well,
I do have one benefit for Zygnus here to say. Going in a round down, you have to feel okay for Zygnus, because Zygnus was the only team to take a game off of Tribe last season. And it was Search and Destroy, which will now be their first match of the series. So this is potentially still a big rematch between these two teams, just due to the fact that the rosters are still very similar. Looking at the likes of Tribe, we've obviously think we're down Slothy, but we're up Forsaken. So that is the one change to keep an eye out for. I also think Childs is not on the roster. Unsure of why, but again, trading Slothy for Forsaken, I mean, that's a pretty even trade out, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the side of Zygnus, again, they have a couple changes, but I think some of their main slayers, specifically looking at them, are going to be the same, in that of, 'Thug' and Bear. Also, the pickup of Washi, 'Thug' and Bear, is going to be a big, 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 for Zygnus is going to put them in a comfortable spot in the sniping game. So leading into a search and destroy, again, Zygnus was the only team to beat Tribe in search and destroy last season. And they just picked up a potentially top tier sniper as well, and that's going to be a deciding factor.
Yeah. The win in Search and Destroy right here would secure Tribe at least a tie for first place alongside Shreddit. And we do have to keep in mind Shreddit, I believe both of their wins are against teams with 0 points. So the first of those, I believe you said, was Vitro. The second one, obviously today, F4. So while you're not necessarily knocking them for that, as they don't get to determine their own schedule, you do have to be aware of how that is going to impact the standings. Obviously, Nova Invictus going up against much tougher competition, up at 35 points, looking pretty good so far. But excited to see this matchup, and normally I don't cheer for teams, but since we hit a DQ in round 1, I am cheering for Zygnus right now.
Yeah, you'd like to see it go to a game 3 based off of the self-inflicted round 1 DQ.
Yeah. Still waiting for our players to get loaded in, so we are going to go ahead and run our ad real quick. And then
Fantastic.
We'll be back with you. You know, to be honest, I wouldn't be that upset if COD Mobile made their ads like 2.5 to 3 minutes long. They give us some time to like get up and stretch and get a drink.
I mean,
I'm
gonna take a drink anyway of my unlabeled soda.
I'm gonna have a sip of my Pellegrino. Pellegrino, if you would like to sponsor the tournament, just let me know. Actually, let Sylvia know. I'm not good at handling that stuff. We do not have any players in for either team right now. Okay.
I blame Zim.
Splinter said they should be joining now. Do we have interviews coming in upcoming weeks?
That is the goal.
Okay.
That is the goal.
Excellent. Also, I know he's probably not here, but big shout out to Muhammad for Nitro boosting the Bobby Plays server. I don't typically pay attention a ton to people boosting, but he like boosted us so much that we got the vanity URL, which I didn't think we would like ever get. So we officially have discord.gg/BobbyPlays. And it only took us 3 years.
I'm offended that I was never given a link to your Discord.
I mean, you can join it now.
I just did.
If you had ever watched any of my streams, you would have known, but it's fine.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually come to probably more of your streams than you realize. I lurk in them while I'm at work.
Did you watch the one earlier?
I did not. I was slammed today.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
I specifically pop in when I know there's an update on COD because I'm like, Bobby's gonna talk about all these updates.
Yeah, earlier I streamed myself packing up my stuff, so that was very fun.
I mean, making content out of a move, that's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
I wanted to stream putting everything together, but AT&T said that I couldn't come pick up my modem, and it has to be delivered, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but if you want to create more work for yourself, then you go ahead and do it.
Have you posted pictures of the house anywhere yet?
Not like detailed pictures. I posted like a celebration picture on Instagram, but We'll probably do
Instagram.
like a full house tour once we get moved in and everything.
Nice, nice.
I finally have to return to mowing lawns. I haven't done that in many years. But on the upside, the homeowners actually left their lawnmower, so free lawnmower.
Bogley, I can actually confirm it is not Coke. I do not like Coke.
Why not? Do you like?
I'm gonna be
Pepsi?
honest.
Do you like? Pepsi?
I am also not a huge Pepsi fan.
Is it Dr. Pepper?
It is. I do enjoy Dr. Pepper.
Okay, that's a good choice. Dr. Pepper is definitely vastly superior to Coke.
I used to like Coke, and it just, I don't know, it's just different now. It's one of those things that just changed with time.
Coke just
And,
always it tastes not like flat. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like it's lacking something.
I think for me, and again, I used to really like Coke, and I also used to like Pepsi, and I don't know, they just both give me like a weird mouthfeel. I don't know if I should be throwing these names out as much as I on the stream either. If you guys don't see me anymore, it's because the goons from Mobile Mayhem had me off for brand placement.
By goons, he means Sylvia.
Sylvia and Maple.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, now it looks like it's Tribe taking their sweet time.
I would too if my opponents were 45 minutes late to check it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Wait. So at what point do we penalize Tribe a map and just go ahead and move on to the game of Domination because we've been waiting on Tribe for like 10 minutes?
I don't know. That's a good question that maybe our tournament manager can answer for us.
Zoom.
Typing.
I know that you're getting yelled at.
The goons are on Zim, guys. Free Zim.
Oh, Zim is confirming that somebody is being dropped or added, apparently. Thanks for hanging with us, chat. Well, guys, in the meantime, I'm going to switch to the schedule screen so that I can eat some of the chips that I did not get to eat before this, because I know that people hate watching me eat. Or people hate watching people in general eat. It's such a weird thing. I don't know why it bothers them so much.
Chat finally caught up to the goons, and Sylvia's asking the goons. Oh no! I'm gonna disappear, stream! I'm sorry. It was nice knowing you guys.
R.I.P. Day.
Apparently, within 5 minutes, we'll have you guys getting into a game. According to Zim. So if it's not 5 minutes, then blame Zim, not me. I'm just the messenger.
had the Chipotle quesadilla?
I actually do not go to Chipotle very often. I'm very picky with my tacos and burritos, and I have
Oh, you only
very
go to, like,
good.
genuine Mexican restaurants?
Yeah. Very, very, very picky with my Mexican food.
I get that. I can respect that. Only reason I ask is because there's not anything, like, extraordinarily outstanding about the Chipotle quesadilla, except for the container that it comes in. And for some reason it's so appealing because it has like 3 different troughs for the dips that you get with it. So if you get like guac, sour cream, and salsa, each of the things has its own trough, which if I didn't get chips would definitely be like a waste of space, but when you get chips with it, it just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's so satisfying to see. I don't understand why.
Zim now says 3 minutes.
Alright, Zimothy.
I believe in you, Zim.
Zimmerson. Apparently Zim's being strangled.
Zim is being attacked by the goons.
Wait,
What we will
apparently
forever
Day lost his
refer
elite
to
status.
Steph.
Anybody remember what Day lost his elite status for?
Blocked and unfollowed?
Do you
Yeah, this
remember
seems
what
like
you
it.
said? Because I don't remember what you said.
I think it was reinforcing that Sylvia was a goon.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's probably it. Gonna be honest, we don't have any regrets either.
Nah, we're chilling.
Exposed, Sylvia. I am talking. I'm doing numbers. I'm trying to fill in the blank time with KDAs.
I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Ooh, we have a deadline now.
Yep, 8:47.
Dun-dun, dun-dun. Oh, looks like everybody's here.
Oh, then I should probably get back there. All right, we have people. Have players in the lobby.
Apparently,
8N
Ben is
shailed. Yep. Or is it Ben? I think it's
or
a
8EN.
I mean, maybe it's still Ben, but with an 8. I don't know. Maybe he'll yell at me in your chat and be like, "It's this," and I'll be like, "Alrighty."
Alright, just waiting for one more player, and it looks like we will finally be good to go. What did I do to my phone?
But Splinter, is it Ben or is it 8EN? Also, I can't use my emotes here. This is sad.
Why can't you use your emotes?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Huh.
I am talking about in Discord, not in chat, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Splinter has confirmed. So if it's wrong, blame goon number 3, Splinter, that it's Ben.
Past 8:47, by the way. Alright, there we go. Hopping into game number 1.
All right. Well, this is definitely the matchup that we've all been waiting for today. And due to, I believe it was Zygnus with a missed check-in earlier. Did suffer a forfeit for the first map, but we will be jumping into Search and Destroy. I did kind of touch on it a little bit earlier that Zygnus was the only team last season to actually beat Tribe in Search and Destroy. Tribe has a very similar roster, with the exception of picking up Forsaken in place of Slothy, and a large portion of the Zygnus lineup, as far as like their top slayers go, is quite similar to last season. So we could potentially still see a game 3 coming out of these guys. And only time will tell, as it did look like we had a player not load in. So we're going to go ahead and get back to the lobby and hopefully get us in ASAP, because we want to get you guys to the action. That was a long break that we had, and we're ready. We're ready for our key matchup of the night. Just for anybody who's maybe joining us late here, we do have NL and Eleventy get a bye for their matchups tonight. So it'll just be the 4 matches. It looks like Tribe may potentially still be struggling to get a player connected, but hopefully we'll get them in here soon. There's Hacks loading in.
Finally.
And we are now getting you guys into the Search and Destroy match. Tribe versus Zygnus. Tribe go in with a 1-map lead over Zygnus.
And if I read Twitter correctly, I believe Bolu actually said he's going to be the primary sniper for Tribe from now on. So we'll see. We've seen him do that in past weeks, and definitely has not struggled with it. We'll see how he manages to match up against Washi, as obviously he's been one of the breakout players. 2 early frags for S-Thug, definitely a good sign for Zygnus right here, is they very much need to have a big performance and able to push this to a game number 3. S-Thug already 3 on the board, trying to make it 4. It is going to be challenge repeaking and wishing he hadn't, as we have a 4-kill round number 1 for S-Thug.
Yeah, and again, this is the one team that did beat Tribe last season in Search and Destroy. So there is potential for a game 3 here. Again, this is mostly the same Tribe roster as last season that was able to pull all the way through and win the grand finals. So you expect them to be a team that anybody takes seriously, as we see Forsaken come through with a double kill there. Marshy as well picking up a kill onto Jingo. I did miss, I think it was Child's got a kill onto S-Thug there, which really opened things up. Washi is going to get the return kill on Ben, aka Childs. Also picks up the clean kill onto Bolu there. What was just a 4 versus 1 is now a little bit more feasible, as Washi picks up 2, making it a 1 versus 2. And let's see, they are on offense. So unfortunately for Washi, he has a whopping 35 seconds to push in, get the bomb and plant, or get 2 kills. And we do have 2 members of Tribe just kind of sitting here. They know bombs down. He finds Forsaken, but doesn't see Marshy in the other corner. And great defense by Tribe there, evening things up 1-1.
Yeah, things were looking a little bit scary right there. Definitely some beautiful shots from Washi, but obviously the right strategy. Both players holding those corners, especially with knowledge of where the bomb is. That is going to allow Tribe to even things up at 1-1. And going to be taking a look at Washi once again, is definitely seeming to be in the flow state right now. I believe we have Marshy waiting on the backside up there. Going to take some initial grenade damage as the B plant does go on in. Trades go in for both teams. Bomb's going to go down, but it is going to be Tribe up a man right here. Washi says, never mind, it's going to be a 2v2. And one player actually looked like they were pinned back behind that tent. Bolu's going to find the frag onto Jingo. And gets spotted by Washi. He's going to stay alive, but the smoke going in makes things difficult. Not able to hit the snipe. Bolu hits the pistol shots, and he's shooting bodies as well. And looking like we got a little bit of hostility between these two teams as Tribe takes the lead.
I mean, again, you definitely expect there to be some rivalry between these two teams based off of last season. Zygnus, another team that I would expect to be, potentially in the top 3, just based off of the skill that they have. Again, they picked up Washi, who just came out of nowhere and has been this nutty sniper in the league, and we see it working out well for him here. Really rocking the Locust, hitting some crazy quickscopes as well. And I believe he's going to be one of the key players to help carry them through the season, as we do have a 2-for-1 trade there in that gunfight. Awakened just barely making it out alive. S-Thug also picking up the headshot there onto Hax. Saxy finds Bolu, and it's now a 1 versus 3 as Ben/Childs picks up the kill onto Saxy there. We do have a bomb plant coming out of Zygnus, and potentially a time for them to even things up, unless if Ben is able to pull together a triple kill and a defuse in 30 seconds.
And he's not in a great spot right now. How did he win that gunfight? There is no reason for him to win that with 2 HP, but he does it anyway. He's got 20 seconds to work with, 2 players up in that top area waiting for the defuse, and definitely going to cause him to waste a pretty good amount of time. He knows where he needs to look, but not going to be able to land the shots that he needs to. Trying to bait them out, gets the first kill, won't be able to get the 2 of them. And honestly, a little bit of a risky play by Washi to jump out. Ideally, you would only like to send 1 player out of that doorway and try to bait out some shots and waste some more time. Could have very well been a 2-piece, but fortunately,
confidence was key there.
Confidence was key, but if that was, like, we've seen tectonic clutch situations like that, which is why, like, yeah, it went right that time, but would you do it again? Probably not.
I mean, not to say anything bad about any of these players, but is Tectonic really human? Like, is he even in the same league to compare?
I mean, I feel like he's had some pretty human performances recently.
Ooh. On purpose.
To trick everybody.
He's a god stooping down to the realm of mere mortals to see what it feels like.
This can't be good for his ego.
Look, I was really hard on Tectonic for quite a while there,
That's
and
true.
he really stepped it up when I was hard on him. So we got to give him some credit here.
Yeah, Tribe winning the round. It looked like Bolu had about 3 different people he could have hit right there and didn't manage to hit any of them, and that's going to take away any advantage that Tribe had. Misses the shot on the S-Thug as well. S-Thug's going to actually find a 2-piece in the middle of it, and that's definitely going to be big for Zygnus right here. Washi's still alive, not able to hit the... Oh my gosh! Poor Forsaken tried to jump out into the entire team of Zygnus right there and get steamrolled. Where is Hex at that he is able to nade? I don't know how he's able to get the nade kill right there, but that's definitely very much needed for Tribe. He's going to be able to get the plant down onto B right here, and we'll now have both Marshy and Hex repositioning to their spots to see if they can find some picks. 2 players lining up, I believe. Oh, wow! Perfect double peek by Tribe Gaming, and now Jingo, who's only got 1 kill on the board, all by himself, misses the entire first spray. Does hit the follow-up shots. He's trying to get the reload off. Hex is laying down a lot of shots, just barely had enough ammo to get the final kill right there. And Tribe Gaming looking like they might have a shot at closing this one out in a very quick 2-0, given that we had a forfeit in the first one.
Yeah, it's, we would have liked to see Zygnus pull together a win here, push us to game 3. All of these rounds have been very close. I mean, there's still a world where Zygnus are able to come back here. But with Bolu picking up the first blood onto S-Thug there, not a great position for Zygnus to be in, especially with Tribe making their push up, Hax getting the plant here, and This is looking potentially like it's going to be a Tribe 5-2. It is a 5 versus 4, still very doable for Zygnus, but they've got 35 seconds to find the kills in a disadvantage, as well as still have time on the clock for that defuse. Hax unfortunately slides the corner in a little bit rough of a spot there, and Zygnus turn the tables quickly. What was a 1-player lead for the side of Tribe is now a 1-player deficit. It's Forsaken having to defend the bomb. Can play the clock here if he plays it carefully. He picks up 1 on Dawashi. 7 seconds on the board. Is there time? I think Saxy just barely got to the bomb in time. It is so close, but the 0-second defuse coming through for the side of Zygnus. Going to bring things up 4-3.
That was, wow. I mean, I thought he was going to be able to close it out quickly, especially after Washi got the hit marker, but he's playing Ring Around the Rosies for a second. And it really was like the last 10th of a second that he possibly could have gone in for the defuse, but able to get it. And keeping the hopes alive for Zygnus right here. Is no first bloods going in yet. Hex pushing over toward the B site. Nobody really there to contest for Zygnus right now as they're all over on A, but we do see some people now making those rotations on in. S-Thug has made his way underneath to that doorway down by the B site. And right now just waiting for somebody from Tribe to slide on through. Tribe playing this very, very slowly, especially given the fact that nobody has really peeked or given any information that they are by the B bomb site. This could potentially be an easy frag for S-Thug, but it's actually Hax laying down first fire. And pressure remains on for Zygnus right here as we now have the collapse, and it goes the way of Zygnus big time. Everything they needed and more. 4 players drop for Tribe. They're going to get the defuse. They don't even need the last kill. S-Thug's going to find it anyway onto Forsaken. Just like that, we're tied up at 4-4.
And like I said, can't count Zygnus out. The rounds have been too close, even though Tribe was in the lead. Still anybody's game. Tribe could walk away with it. Zygnus could walk away with it. But we're down to the last 3 rounds between these two teams. Potentially 3 rounds if we went to a game 11. So, you know, again, I think, Bobby, I think we're both rooting for Zygnus, not out of favoritism, but wanting to see these two teams go into a domination matchup. So really a lot on the line for these two teams. All 5 players on both sides alive. The B-bomb plant coming through for Tribe. And it is now a 4v5 favor inside of Tribe as Hax picks up kill number 7 for himself there, dropping S-Thug. Again, the top fragger currently for the side of Zygnus. Jingo does pick up a kill out of Forsaken. Zygnus come through with a 4-piece. It's now Child/Ben last alive, unable to stop the defuse.
Wow.
As Zygnus once again go up 5-4.
That was just got steamrolled right there. It seemed like Tribe had every advantage, but wow, the slaying power for Zygnus really shining through. 3 players in double digits. Washi, S-Thug, and Awaken all at 10 kills right now. And something I was going to say, going into that round, even though we were tied at 4-4, Zygnus had a 6-kill advantage. So that shows you how close the rounds were, that Tribe was able to hold the lead for that long without really any type of a kill advantage. And we're definitely starting to see the disparity as it continues to grow. Hex trying to make that push on over to B once again, but Tribe really struggling to win those gunfights, and I think the disparity has grown to 9 now, if I'm not mistaken. Even though 1 round separates the two, the bomb is down once again, but the retakes for Zygnus have been so good so far. The timing, the utility, and as I say it, things starting to fall apart a little bit. Only 2 players alive. I don't really know what S-Thug is doing right here. There's not a whole lot of time to work with, and he's going to make the rotation all the way back to the opposite side. Could end up working out. He gets the initial frag, but he needs to find 3 more in a span of 12 seconds with everybody looking at that doorway. Obviously, not a whole lot of room for him to make a mistake, and he's going to get beamed on the way in. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves around 11.
Yeah, around 11. And, man, this is just a great way to get through into the end of the Search and Destroy. Both teams have fought hard for where they're at. I mean, we honestly have pretty even kills across the board. I mean, we do have Awaken, Washi, and S-Thug all in double digits, but with Jingo down at 5, Saxy down at 5, and then looking over at Tribe, and we've got 7, 6, 7, 7, 8. It's been a very close match all across. We do have the bomb plant coming out for Zygnus. You got to be thinking that they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable going into this side. It does look like we have Bolu pushing the backside solo while the rest of the team makes the team-wide flank. We'll have to see how that works out here. Saxy picks up the kill on Marshy to trade Childs and Hacks trading back and forth there. Awaken picks up Bolu. This is starting to look like we're going to a game 3. It's now Childs alone, and he is going to get picked up by Washi. And definitely feel bad for passive 808 in chat, calling the 6-5 Tribe win, saying it's going to be disappointing for Zygnus to put in all this work just to lose 6-5, and Zygnus comes through and shuts them down.
That was a clinical round 11. I mean, just like breaking it down, they did not waste any utility making the entry into the B site. They got the plant down first. They kept 5 people alive. They had S-Thug on the top of the little ladderway to overlook multiple areas. They continually used their utility to keep Tribe from making any entry, and by the time Tribe had any idea what they were going to do, there was only 20 seconds remaining. They tried to make their pushes. Zygnus hit their shots, and that was just an absolute beauty of a round for them to push us to a game number 3. And also, Day, we don't have your face.
Yeah, I keep turning that off because my computer's dying. So I've got to, like, kind of slowly handle what I throw on it at once. But hopefully, in the next couple weeks, we'll be building a whole new rig, which will lead to, hopefully, some streams. Hopefully lead to some more Mobile Mayhem content. I plan on, obviously, picking up the interviews again. And, you know, I'm pretty excited about it. We might potentially even try to go full-time stream.
Maybe Day will become my Wild Rift coach.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm still in need of a Wild Rift coach. I have gone through and, like, so I've just been really busy with work. So I'm a mechanic during the day, and with people getting their taxes back, with people getting their stimulus check, it's like been a flood of, I have all of this money and my car needs to be fixed. And so it's been really busy. I've been really behind, and I don't know what's happening for the future. So,
have you heard of Pokemon Unite?
I've heard of Pokemon Unite. I think I actually told Zim that we are going pro in Pokemon Unite.
Whenever that game comes out, I'm full sending it.
Yo, I got you. I'll be there.
That's like half the reason I'm playing Wild Rift as much as I am right now, is because they are so similar. So I'm just going to become as good at Wild Rift as I can, so that when Pokemon Unite comes out, I'm going to be the #1 support Pokemoner in the world.
Well, I'll be there with you, Bobby. I'll play some Pokemon Unite with you, man.
All right.
We'll get there. I haven't played any Wild Rift yet, okay? I've read the items and the character abilities, because I haven't played League in so long. Obviously, there are some differences, but like trying to make the catch up there. Who knows? Maybe there will be League or Wild Rift Mobile Mayhem content.
I think
there
is
you never know.
Wild Rift Mobile Mayhem.
Oh man, I didn't even. I wasn't even there for it. What the heck?
I didn't.
Yeah, I'm just so busy. I can't keep up with anything.
I'm not involved in it at all. I just know that it's there.
Alrighty. Well, for something that just came out, there's time for it to grow.
Yeah. Yes, Zim. Pokemon Unite is the Pokemon MOBA. That
correct.
I think it's in beta in Canada, but it's a closed beta, so nobody can make content on it yet.
And just real quick for chat, for clarity, I call Sylvia a goon, or at least I did today. But Sylvia is honestly like the most amazing person. So be nice to her in chat. She's one of the wonderful, wonderful staff that is one of the main reasons that Mobile Mayhem exists. So make sure you give Sylvia some love when she finds time in her incredibly busy schedule to come hang out with us. And don't be mean like me.
Do you guys really think I have the mental capacity to get all this figured out? Like, I can barely get out of bed and start up my own stream in the morning. How the freak do you guys think I'm going to coordinate pro players who can't even tell up from down?
I gotta say though, Bobby, I'm digging the whole having to hold the mic thing going on here.
Do I just need to do this from now on?
Heck yeah.
Alright. Type 1
Yo,
in chat.
look at Zim trying to steal my glory here because he knows there's a chat delay and he can listen on in. Oh man. Oh man. This is toxic behavior from Zim.
Wow. I don't know. B, I think we have everybody ready, so if we wanted to hop in.
Whoa! And she's not even gonna be around for the 2 minutes to catch up. This is malarkey.
Tough scene. We are good to go. Game number 3, it is going to be Domination on Standoff. And this is definitely bound to be a treat. We haven't seen a whole lot of Domination so far this season. And if there's one matchup where I want to see it, it's definitely going to be this one. Lots on the line. The reputation, the points, the bragging rights, whatever it is. We are off to the races as Zygnus currently full sending toward back alley right here. We get the concussion nade to go through, but Estug's going to win the gunfight. It is all Zygnus in the feed right now. And it looks... Oh, wow. What a play from Bolu to actually get a player off right there. But regardless, it looks like Zygnus might actually be able to get the double cap off the start. And they do.
Now, this would definitely be a little different than how these two teams played out last season. Zygnus did pick up the Search and Destroy win, so we've had kind of a repeat of that, but Tribe were able to close it out. So in our Spring 2021 rematch between these two teams, can Zygnus turn things around and try to pull together a win here from them? Again, I don't want to really call it an upset because we're in a new season. The meta has obviously quite drastically changed, a lot of it due to some rule changes. But man, definitely got to give Zygnus credit. I mean, he struggled in Search and Destroy in the qualifiers. But, I mean, potentially, depending on how the season goes. Again, Tribe's roster is very similar. Zygnus could go down being the only team to beat Tribe in Search and Destroy again. Wow. If Tribe have another great season like they did last time around. But right now, this is a Zygnus triple cap. We do have Bolu on C. Going to flip that back over to them. But Zygnus with an 18-point lead here early on in Domination.
Yeah, this is actually surprisingly dominant. Estug, I mean, this guy is definitely going to be one of the breakout players of this season. He is, time and time again, come through really, really big for them. 8 kills on the board already. And he's just winning his gunfights. And it's not typically with the meta guns that we see, like the DRHs, the QQ9s, the QXRs, but it's with your Fenix and your AK-117s. So having a really good game so far. And we still see the double cap in control of Zygnus right here. We do see some progress going in. It is going to be Chelds, but he's going to get beamed off by the myriad of DRHs on the opposite side. Hex going to get the assist right here, looking to close out the B cap. He's going to be able to do so. And in a 100-point game of Domination, Tribe's still not in a bad spot. Obviously, you don't want to be down by 30 points at any point in time. But you've got a lot of time that you can close this gap, and the longer you can hold, obviously, the more you get. But just as I say it, it looks like we get a pretty good chunk of B progress in for Zygnus, and just like that, B is back in their control.
Yeah, that was a great smoke coming out of the side of Zygnus, able to regain control of the B flag. That's going to kind of slow what was looking to be potentially a gap close by the side of Tribe. And Bolu rocking it. 14 kills right now for him. Only player in double digits even. So phenomenal performance out of him. Maybe we'll see him help his team get back into that B cap as Saxy does slide at the corner, pick up the gunfight there. And Tribe are able to pull together a B cap. I don't know, let's see, 22. No, there's not enough time for even the double cap to give them the lead before going into the second half. But even on top of that, I mean, it's Zygnus coming through once again, picking up the B cap in quick fashion. So, looking like Zygnus going to go into the second half with a lead, especially as Astug rocking through, picking up a triple kill there. Finds another one as well. Finds another triple kill there, or no, another double kill. But man, that was a big play for Astug there. He did get the Pred missile online. It doesn't look like he quite got the cluster strike, but this is potentially one of the strongest maps for the 2 score streaks that we do have. Actually, did I just see a care package get thrown by somebody? I'm confused.
You might have. I think he might have thrown down the care package before the end of the half so that he wasn't tempted to pick it up, if I had to guess.
That's fair. I mean, I was watching it back on the stream. It looked like someone threw a care package, but maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, Estog still has his care package. That maybe you saw him unlocking the care package or something. I don't know if that even.
That could have been. That could have been for sure. But we do have a very fast B cap for the side of Tribe, and they need it. They're sitting down 40-some points right now. A double cap is more than enough for them to win if they're able to hold a double the whole time. But they really would have to hold it the whole time. And with Zygnus picking up kill after kill there, getting all that progress on B, getting that cap on B, they could potentially extend their lead here and kind of dethrone the reigning champions, I guess is the way to, easiest way to put it, because Tribe did win last season. And realistically, the only roster change we have for them is minus Slothy plus Forsaken. So.
Ooh, and Bolu missed one too many shots right there. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't use the monolithic suppressor on the DRH, especially if you want to take a cross-map gunfight, because it just, at that range, it doesn't shoot straight. No matter how good your aim is, the randomness of the ADS bullet spread is going to come in, and it is going to bite you in the butt. We do see him finding, and that's the prime range right there. The nice little mid-range shot. You can see him beaming. 23 kills on the board for Bolu, and Jingo rounding the corner as well, now up to 24. Definitely a solid performance for him, and a big reason why Tribe's able to hold this double cap for as long as they have. Looks like he's actually looking to make the push on over to A and maybe secure the triple cap. He's got the flank on one person, make it 2. I don't know why Washi challenged that. That was the definition of an ego chow right there. 1 HP and Bolo was pre-ADS. And the triple cap actually going in for Tribe right here. And they're actually going to be able to stop the C cap as well, as they've got a cluster strike that they were able to call in. Or maybe, yeah, it is a cluster strike. Wow, huge plays going in for Tribe as they're now only down 10 points.
Yeah, big swing for them. The C-Cap finally comes through for the side of Zygnus, but with only 8 points, actually make it 7 points separating the teams currently. Obviously, the double cap is more than enough for Tribe to regain the lead. Again, last season in this head-to-head matchup, Tribe were able to take the domination, and they are shining pretty strong here in the second half. Now, one thing I do want to ask, Bobby, because maybe you might know and I don't, is A-Flow's just not going to be competing? Because I do see him on the Tribe roster, and you would expect him to be the primary sniper for Tribe, but if Bolu is going to be their primary sniper, I mean, I don't know if maybe you know something's going on there, if A-Flows is busy, or what's going on.
I have not heard anything about that, but yeah, definitely given the fact that Bolu is going to be the primary sniper, that's a very real possibility.
He's on the roster still, but
yeah,
we just haven't seen him.
Definitely unusual, and it seems like that happens every once in a while for Tribe players. They just, something comes up, they need to take a break, whatever it is. But it's Bolu holding down top blue right here. Until somebody kills him out of top blue, nothing's going to happen for Zygnus. They keep throwing bodies blindly over at B, and it's just not going to happen. He's beaming everybody. He's got the perfect situation right there. And for some reason, nobody is making any type of... They're just feeding him right now. Zygnus is just completely feeding Bolu. He's 30 points off a Pred missile right here. Somebody pushing him. He secures the Pred missile. He's going to go ahead and call that in. That's probably going to seal the deal right there. Not really a whole lot of time.
Only a minute,
Zygnus.
yeah.
to work with right now, and Bolu getting beamed. I'm surprised he jumped out only 130 points off of a cluster strike. Probably going to try to sit back and play things a little more tightly as he does get another kill right there. And there's the cluster strike that will pretty much 100% seal the deal. He might be looking to nuke right now. I'm not
Whatever you just did,
positive.
Bobby.
He's
whatever
on
you
a
just did
fat streak.
Went from 50% mic quality to 100. So keep doing what you got going on. But you are right. Bolu absolutely turning around the second half here for the team. Even with the double cap coming through for Zygnus, I don't even know if a triple cap can save them with 18 seconds on the board. So this one is starting to look like Tribe victory. Oh, the triple cap was so close. Again, not time on the board, but Zygnus put up a heck of a fight here, Bobby. All the way down to the last couple seconds where they almost pulled together the triple cap, but Tribe able to close it out 193 to 175 after going into the second half being down a solid chunk of points for being Domination. Zygnus had the lead and just couldn't keep Tribe down long enough. So excellent performance out of Tribe here. That's going to be a 2-1 victory for them. That is going to net them 15 points in the standings, and it's going to give Zygnus 5. So both of these teams will move up, but I believe, let me just double check. I believe that makes Tribe and Invictus tied in second place for Division 1.
Are there divisions?
Oh, no, there's not. Okay, it's just the left and the right. Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
yeah.
All right, so I guess that, I think that's then tied for second.
Yeah,
Mods,
I believe
confirm,
that,
deny,
yeah, that ties them for second with
35?
yeah, with no
Yeah.
Invictus.
Correct.
That was,
All
I mean, that, especially watching from the perspective that I watched, really came down to Zygnus played the first half really well, and then the second half it seemed like they just stared at that tiny bit of progress that they needed to close out the B cap and just kept blindly throwing bodies at it, rather than trying to take a strategic approach, and because of that, everybody for Tribe could basically just sit in the back of the map and continue to beam them off, stack up score streaks, and they maintained the double cap. I mean, it really didn't look like Tribe had to try at all toward the end of that game. They were just kind of sitting there, waiting for people to line up, and they were just beaming them off. So definitely, I mean, Tribe did what they needed to do. I think there's definitely a way that Zygnus could have very well won that matchup, but just not quite enough strategy employed. And that's definitely a very, very big win for Tribe, given that that's one of the tougher competition that they're going to go up against throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that was why it was kind of our key matchup of the night to watch. And, it was a really well-fought game between both teams. I mean, we went all the way into Game 11 for Search and Destroy, where Zygnus were able to pull together the win there. Moving into the Domination, Zygnus had a great first half, but Tribe, definitely, specifically Bolu, played just a phenomenal second half and overcame a point disparity that they went into, being down. I don't remember exactly what they were down, but I mean, it was, I think, almost like 30, 40 points. So big comeback out of Tribe there. But, I mean, again, this is a lot of the same roster that they had last season that really carried them through to the grand finals and won the whole thing. I mean, we don't have A-Flows, who is the primary sniper, although he is on the roster, so I'm, again, not sure what's going on with that. And we're minus Slothy and Jez plus Forsaken. So we do have some roster changes, but, I mean, overall, picking up Forsaken, obviously a repeat MVP. Bolu playing absolutely nutty here tonight, really helped carry them through. And, again, we're going to have to see if he can consistently fill the shoes of A-Flows, who is just really a key player for them in our last season.
Yep. And obviously in our final... Wait, my mic is far away. I forgot. Obviously in our final matchup of the night, we do have Vitro versus Trovo Mayhem. It looks like we may actually have some roster changes for Trovo Mayhem, if I'm not mistaken. We actually have E-Molly joining the team right here, so formerly with 8 Kings. Interested to see how he's going to fit in with the team. Definitely had some solid performances with 8 Kings when they were in the league last year, so starting roster for the team.
It makes it sound so long ago.
Well, last split, whatever the freak it was. We got E-Molly, Tectonic, Nero, Legacy, and Jesus Saves You. Obviously going up against Vitro, which is a relatively new team. Vade, Tomb, Sped, Scott, and Parallel. And I believe Vitro got 2-0'd last week, if I'm correct. Let me look at the standings.
Vitro got 2-0'd by Shreddit last week, I believe.
Yeah.
It does look like we have an official cross-off on A-Flows for Tribe.
Oh. All right.
Yep.
And we're being asked to slide over, or actually, if I slide over that, does it? But obviously, we have the Trovo Mayhem team who has pretty big expectations coming in. A lot of really big names. Obviously, Tectonic probably the biggest one, as he's regarded by a lot of people as one of the best, if not the best players in North America, winning the MVP in COD Champs with Tribe Gaming. So we'll see if they can maybe string something together, get their first match win. No disrespect to Vitro, but this is probably going to be one of at least the less experienced teams that they go up against. So this is definitely a shot for them to probably build some momentum if they possibly can. But also, Vitro's probably been putting in work. You don't love to get 2-0'd in your first showing of Mobile Mayhem, and they're definitely going to want to bounce back here as well.
I'll have to see, and this is what you like to see, Bobby. Players getting in the lobby, players being on time, and I think there are some teams in the league that can take notes from these guys on Vitro and Trovo Mayhem. Keep our night moving along smooth.
Hardpoint identified. It's too close. Fight harder.
We perhaps lost Bobby, or maybe you guys are losing me. I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to go ahead and talk, because I don't know what's going on. So we do have Vitro, our first on the hard point at this point in time, and are picking up a couple points here. 13-0 right now, as we do have Legacy and Tectonic coming through. Tech finds a double. Legacy only finds the one before dropping. Sped actually picks up the kill onto Tectonic. And, it's not quite enough for them to hold the hard point, but I'll tell you what, even though you would expect this to be a one-sided matchup, or could say it will potentially be a one-sided matchup, Raid may just have wacky enough spawns that we could see some weird stuff happen, Bobby. So don't count Vitro out quite yet. They're in the lead by about, going into 20-some points going into P2. So we will have to see, but we do have the Trovo Mayhem getting set up. We have a smoke down from Tectonic, sealing his cover. Here's the footsteps, looking for the kill. Picks up one, picks up twos, looking for the third, runs out of ammo. Can't quite find the pistol in time. We will have to see. He spawned pretty close to the hard point because raid things.
Yeah, that was...
And, there we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. That was not the hard point that I expected off the start. Scott having a really big one right there. 6 kills on the board for him. I think he had 5 within the first 30 seconds or so. Obviously, Trovo Mayhem keeping it close, and this is where the hard point spawns start to get really crazy. Basically, both teams spawning on opposite sides of this hard point, very, very close to each other. The garage side can be a little bit further away, but the thing about these spawns is they can also flip very, very quickly. So we'll see. It looks like Tomb trying to hold down far side spawns right here. And we do actually have E-Molly already with a Pred missile on deck. So obviously 8 Kings struggled a good bit in their time in Mobile Mayhem, but he's definitely showing out in his first game with Trovo Mayhem. As we do see them looking to make the AC side push. E-Molly going to be the first to enter the hard point, laying down some more shots, gets the major assist. And with pretty much everybody stacked on the point, you got to expect they've got a good shot at holding this one down. But Vade just being really pesky over there on Van's side, finding a kill, finding a major assist. We do have Nero looking to push in the backside with the QXR. He's actually going to get beamed. And right now, it is going to be having a brain blank.
Vitro?
Vitro taking the lead.
Yeah, definitely not what we would have expected to see between these two teams. But again, I think Raid is unintentionally broken. That might actually give a team that loses some of the team fights an advantage. So right now, it's actually a kill lead for the side of Vitro, but this next hard point specifically can be pretty wacky with respawning right on basketball court. We actually see E-Molly die at the top of spawn and spawns on basketball court. So like this is the hopefully Imperium is watching. This is what we're talking about, homie, when we complain about the hard point changes.
Yeah.
There are maps specifically that are not right. So
Oh,
yeah.
that was actually a relatively proper spawn right there.
See, I could live with that. That's
Yeah.
solid. That keeps the pace of the game fast without you literally spawning where you can shoot somebody on the hard point.
Yep.
So, that's a pretty reasonable spawn. Like that one there. We do see E-Molly dying in the weight room again. And it's a pretty close spawn, but not quite as bad as spawning on the wall.
Yeah.
We do have E-Molly back into the gym room there. Picks up a double kill, proving to be a valuable asset right now for the side of the Trovo or Tectonic Mayhem, depending on which way you want to go with it. But 17 kills for E-Molly, leading all players sped. Next closest with 14. E-Molly peaks a little too early there, gets the wall bang from Parallel. And it's actually a Vitro feed getting filled up as Scott and Vade both find a double kill to get onto the P5 here. E-Molly with a double kill of their own may be able to make the break, but not quite. And we might even see Vitro take a lead here once again.
And one thing to pay attention to is we've got a lot more consistency across the board for Vitro. You can see everybody between 11 and 16. Meanwhile, Trovo Mayhem pretty all over the place. Legacy not having a good game right now. Only 7 kills on the board. Is able to get the break right here, which was very much needed. But the nade on the side going to put him between a rock and a hard place, and he still manages to get the frag. So he must have sensed that I was spectating him, and definitely starting to pop off a little bit right here. Is obviously one of the big surprises right here. Tectonic still not in double digits. That is not something typically see a whole lot, and it seems like the sprays just not quite landing as much as we would typically see them do for him. Parallel's going to take him out in the inside of Red Room, and even though we do have Trovo Mayhem on the point, a lot of players pushing up, applying that pressure right here for Vitro. They're able to get the contest. Jesus saves you up in the top of Laundry, and his teammate Legacy actually going to be the one to clear it out. And definitely a really big hole going on right now for Trovo Mayhem.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a much closer match than I would have thought it was going to be coming into having seen the two teams' performance. But you got to love seeing Vitro come up and definitely fight for this no matter what happens here. So definitely got to give both of these teams credit. Tectonic jumping up very quickly in the kills there, actually almost second fragging on the team as Nero actually picks up 2 kills there, spacing it out a little bit. But the consistency across the board for the side of Vitro right now, pretty solid. Scott 16, Tomb 16, Vade 15, Parallel 20, Sped Speed 16. So really, really solid performance coming out of them. The Trovo Mayhem did have a solid hold on the second rotation onto P1 and looked like they were getting ready to hold P2, but Vitro make the break. There is not quite time on the board for them to take the lead if they win here, but they absolutely have potential. We'll have to see as people are dropping left and right, and the feed is filling up for the side of Vitro as Tomb and Speed once again each finding double kills to lock things down. Bade picking up the kill onto Tonic there. Again, not enough time on the board to take the lead, but plenty enough time for them to close a bit of the gap.
Yeah, I mean, they've been getting a pretty significant number of the kills right there, and obviously that's going to play a big role as we do start to see them making the rotation. It is Trovo Mayhem setting up early, and even though anchoring spawn's not quite as important anymore, obviously having that initial control still going to be crucial so that you have those head glitches that will give you the advantage in the gunfight. You can see everybody looking to make the push over on Van's side. Jesus saves you, gets one frag right there, taking some more shots, not able to take out Vade. We'll get the contest going in, and right now it looks like Legacy kind of by himself trying to hold this one down. Stays alive, getting some laser beams in there, 17 kills, but he's going to get taken out by the nade from Sped, and right now, Vitro looking really, really solid in their hardpoint. They're able to get the breaks, and they're winning their gunfights too.
Hardpoint contested.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're pretty consistent across the board. I mean, Scott just
They've got
one
more
kill.
kills, I'm 99% sure.
Quick math says you are correct, but we've had overall better or slightly better rotations for the side of the Trovo Mayhem.
Yeah.
Vitro almost able to take the lead there, but not quite. They had a pretty solid fight over the basketball court last time around, so we'll have to see. But only 3 points currently separate these teams, and once again, the feed gets filled up by Vitro. And definitely, again, a little bit unexpected because Vitro has lost to, I don't want to say like necessarily worse teams because we have solid teams here in Mobile Mayhem. I mean, even a lot of the new teams really putting up a good name for themselves, but almost potentially could be the kryptonite of the Trovo Mayhem in a unexpected upset if it happens, but so very close right now. I definitely wouldn't have expected seeing this game being just 6 points apart this far in, and it's actually Vitro taking the lead once again. We do have a full team wipe onto Vitro, but thanks to some respawn mechanics, they had a second chance there. Not quite gonna be able to remake the break, but again, still a very close game, even with the trickle going over to the side of the Trovo Mayhem here. It's still just about a 15, almost 20-point game between these two teams. I do believe we are like basically exactly at time where Trovo Mayhem could technically win on a single hard point, but with Vitro being the first on here, that is not the case any further, and Vitro potentially able to swap the time it back into their favor again here. We had a cryo out there that helped the rotation, and it's now going to be the Trovo Mayhem once again on point, starting to extend their lead again, but it's still under 20 points between these two teams currently.
Yeah, since switching to Nero, he's definitely been playing really solidly. I still don't understand how those spawns flip because I'm pretty sure Jesus Saves You was above basketball, holding that should have forced. You know what? I'm not gonna try to make it.
Raid broken. No, Raid is broken. I'm telling you, it's unintentional. This can't be intentional.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting flip that ended up resulting in a Trovo Mayhem easy basketball take, and despite that, only 4 points separating these teams. Emol is just absolutely a laser with the LK-24. Some beautiful shots coming in. As we got everybody trying to push through mid right here, obviously trying to push that top laundry side, never easy to do, especially with that mean head glitch that Emol is holding right now. Trovo Mayhem still holding. Legacy gonna hit a beam right there. Finds a frag, immediately refrag. Nero now holding down the point, trying to find a contester. Laying down a few shots, but Scott's gonna cause some issues, and it is going to be a break. I don't even know if I'd even call it a break anymore, just given how quickly you can lose the hard point. But at least a tiny bit of control going in for Vitro before immediately getting wiped by Trovo Mayhem, who then immediately gets wiped by Vitro.
Yeah, you know, I almost think I want to reach out to COD Mobile and just verify that this is unintentional response.
I've talked to them, trust me.
Raid specifically is so sporadic, so inconsistent, so just not pleasant to cast. The rest of the maps are pretty okay. Summit has some pretty iffy moments too, but this is so difficult to watch at certain times. I mean, we're still 10 points between these two teams though. Vitro putting up a better fight than they have yet this season. Vade 34 kills, Parallel 36, Scott 33, Tomb 31, Speed 28. I mean, such a close game. As you mentioned, Emali really rocking on the side of the Trovo Mayhem right now. Tectonic, who was struggling early on, coming through for the team there, really turning things around. Potentially one of the reasons that they were able to come back here and win with a 25-point lead. I mean, he was, 10, 11 points down from top frag at the early stages of the game, and really pulled it around. And again, one of the reasons that the team was able to make that comeback. And Tectonic, a repeat player for Mobile Mayhem, really strong player to help lead teams, even when he's not being the top frag that we would expect out of him. It's just a stable player that the rest of the team can bounce and balance off of. So excellent performance between these two guys. I mean, again, I wouldn't have expected it this close coming in, Bobby. I mean, it sounded like me and you had pretty much the same kind of thought when we were discussing it before the stream, that, the last match would probably be just a quick one-sided 2-0, and that was not the case. So now, off the back of that Trovo Mayhem win, I'm really excited to see if Vitro can bring that same fire as we move into Search and Destroy, which I believe is going to be on, let me pull up my schedule here. Did I not update it? Did I not hit update? Okay, we have Search and Destroy and Standoff. Okay, there we go. I was looking at the wrong day.
Yep, that was... I mean, honestly, you know what? It kind of reminds me of zombies, except everyone has guns. That's kind of what Hardpoint Raid reminds me of, because there's always somebody spawning somewhere. You don't ever know where it's going to be, and yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good analogy.
Look, when your team can lose the fight on the hardpoint and get wiped, and 4 of your players spawn with basically the whole enemy team in your sights, probably not intentional.
Yeah,
so,
I would agree with that.
Again, well, I would expect to see some changes to the respawns on Raid and Summit, specifically the 2 maps. I actually like the changes on a lot of the other maps. Like, I think firing range is pretty solid. Standoff is pretty solid.
You should see what the spawns on Crash look like. That was one of the reasons.
We haven't seen Crash.
No, that's because they removed it for
because we removed it.
The spawns
okay.
are so bad. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's why we haven't seen it.
P5 Crash spawns are one of the greatest abominations to gaming that have ever existed.
P5 Crash is the high side corner 2-story building, right? Okay, yeah.
Basically, you either spawn in the side building or over by the dumpster, and everybody just keeps spawning side building, dumpster, side building, dumpster. I
mean, again, I get the intent of players spawning too far away, specifically for maps like Crash and Summit, where if you don't have anchor, you basically regroup and just get ready for the next hardpoint. I get wanting to make the game a little bit more fast-paced, but when you're literally just spawning on top of each other, you look at the other maps, again, like firing range, pretty solid. Standoff, pretty solid. I like the pace of those maps, but you're not spawning on top of each other.
Yeah.
So I expect to see some changes on the development end for Raid and apparently Crash, and apparently that's why I haven't seen Crash, because it's that busted. But even Summit is pretty weird in some areas. And again, I think Summit is one of the maps that did really need a tweak of how far away you spawned. Because again, if you lost the fight on, for example, P4 on Summit, that was basically it. I mean, by the time your
Yep.
team could regroup and push across the map, you would be fighting over the last 15 seconds or so of the hard point. And at that point, it's not worth it. You'd rather set the defense up and try to get control of that P1 rotation and try to make up your points there. So I'm hoping they do a little bit more on the balancing side of things. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for the direction Hardpoint's heading. Just needs to be cleaned up on the edges a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to run our final ad, and then hopefully when we get back in like 10 seconds, our last players will be readied up and good to go for game 2. And something to note as we do get ready to hop into things here is we do actually have Little B subbing in for E-Molly right here. I didn't even know that we were still allowed to do mid-series substitutions, but it's probably just because nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the ideal things about the one sniper setup.
Yeah.
Is it kind of falls in a line where you have that player who can specifically focus on being a sniper for search and destroy. Which I think is definitely an interesting change because, again, there's no respawn sniping this season, just flat out banned. But I do think that definitely brings a higher degree of value to the team that has the bigger sniper or better sniper. And it's primarily going to be affected on maps like Meltdown. I know we kind of went into depth on the multiple play styles of Meltdown earlier. Firing range is another really big search and destroy one because those picks across mid early can swing the tide of a fight. So I really appreciate it in that sense. But at the same time, there are players, for example, Little B, who you would like to see in more of the games. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, we don't know. Maybe he just wasn't available at a time to play the first hard point. Maybe he is just focusing on being a sniper. Only time will tell. This is day 2. We're still very early on. So.
Yeah, it looks like Tectonic might be lagging a little bit. Not entirely sure what I was seeing right there.
As the team leader, he's just making sure that his team can carry their own weight.
Well, you do see 2 players dropping off the start, Tectonic being one of them. Little B got COD timing on his ADS time on that window up top of shops right there, so he's going to be forced to reposition. Waiting for somebody to come in through market, not spotting them quite yet. A really odd start to a standoff search and destroy right here is obviously the other team currently playing the bomb. And not a whole lot of options for Trovo Mayhem. At some point, they're probably just going to have to ego shell a corner and hope that they can win the gunfight. They do have Spad on the inside of gas station right here. Jesus saves. Trying to slide on through. Hits the first couple of shots. Didn't want to hit the reshell. Probably the right move right there. He's going to go ahead and reposition. It's a 2v2 as he and Little B still standing right here. And definitely the right play as he gets the easy frag onto Sped. And they're going to be able to full send it over toward B. They do not have a whole lot of time to work with as the plant is going on in. Tomb trying to get the angle from above. Doesn't actually see the bomb planter, and very unfortunate timing for him as now that does allow them to get into position to try to stop the retake. He's, I don't think, going to see Little B in the top area, and that he's probably now got the information. He does. He spots Tomb across, not able to hit the initial snipe over top of the van. But now spraying with the QXR. It's a 2v1, and he is stuck. 5 HP to work with. The reload goes in. Little B gets the frag. Trovo Mayhem takes the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Trovo Mayhem would definitely like to close things out 2-0 here, as they did finish last week in a less than ideal position. They only picked themselves up 5 points, so you definitely would like to see them pick up the 20 here again with specifically the historic skill of a lot of the players on this roster. But even a 20-point pickup here would not put them in top 3. In fact, they would still be down by a pretty fair margin. So yeah, Trovo, they definitely need the 2-0 win here, but I mean, as long as they don't lose in a domination, they're still in a pretty solid spot.
Yeah. And obviously, the removal of divisions and just having everybody. Oh yeah, that's gotta be. I was about to say, you just concussion nated him. Slides, peeks the wrong corner. I thought Nero was gonna end up dying amidst disaster right there. But yeah, like we said, obviously the removal of divisions is gonna make it so that we do have more of a true top 6 teams in the quarterfinals and semifinals. Which I think ultimately does tend to make things a little bit more fair. Little B getting the snipe onto Parallel. I think that's actually 2 rounds in a row that he's able to do that. Nobody pushing through back grandmas yet, so a pretty free first blood there without any refrag going in. A solid start for Trovo Mayhem.
Ooh, Legacy and Nero both almost died there. That was a big yikes.
Was that to a nade?
No, I think it was, one of them might have been a nade, but it looked like, I believe Legacy actually, took shots.
Well, we do have the plant going in over on A. It's going to be 3 players alive for the retake for Vitro right here. And not a whole lot of options. Players pushing out backside. What a spray by Tomb. And things falling apart for Trovo Mayhem. They've only got 2 players left alive right here. They got to make things happen quick. Little B with a sniper in hands. You got to be aware of it. He's taking some shots. Trying to hold off from Haybale. Not able to hit the quick scopes. Legacy trying to hit his shots. Little B just barely able to clutch right there. And Trovo Mayhem now moving up to 3-0.
Yeah, definitely a comfortable spot for the Trovo Mayhem to be in. Again, especially having Lil B on their team. Their primary sniper up at 6 kills right now. Absolutely rocking it. Tomb on the opposition. Playing phenomenal, though. I mean, 6 kills as well for him. Tectonic Legacy lagging a little bit behind the rest of their team, but still well in the realm of possibilities for them to pick up a clean 2-0 victory here over the side of Vitro. Tomb, I thought Legacy was going to challenge that, to be honest with you. We do have potentially a frag coming out, but doesn't know that Tomb is long gone at this point. I didn't see what Tectonic almost got wrecked by, but he will make it out on 3 health there, I believe I saw. So still a 4 versus 5 in favor of Vitro. We do have Nero with the bomb. Just can't really apparently get into a comfortable position to push up. We do have him rotating over towards the towards boxes at this point through Bakery there. Do have a couple kills picked up back and forth. I think it was a 2-for-2 trade. But now with Nero running low on time, definitely has to get aggressive here and push up or go for a B. Runs past Parallel, didn't check his corners. And that is going to be a round going over to the side of Vitro. So 1 more round of Trovo Mayhem offense before we get to see if Vitro can turn things around.
Yeah, definitely a much-needed first blood for Sped to open that one up, and I think the removal of Little B from the equation definitely made it a lot easier for them to maneuver the map and get the points where they wanted to be. So, getting on the board, definitely the first place to start for Vitro. It is going to be an easy A-plant going in for Trovo Mayhem. Nero throwing out nades. Utility going to use, he's actually going to get the vehicle explosion onto Vade. Unfortunate for him. Little B holding down Market, and right now Vitro just does not really have any options. I think Scott actually might have gotten a hit marker right there. Little B is going to miss the quick scope. It's going to be a 4v4 right here, but Legacy gets the trade. Jesus saves, gets the 1. Not able to make it a 2, but 3 players still alive. They're able to win those 2 players right here. Tectonic wins the gunfight, and Trovo Mayhem moves to 4-1.
Trovo Mayhem definitely in a comfortable spot. They have a 3-game cushion ahead of them. They only need to pick up 2 out of potentially the next 5 rounds, 6 rounds. So they're in a great spot. With Lil B and Jesus Saves You doing, and Legacy as well, really solid performance coming out of these guys. The biggest struggle for them has been Tomb, who's sitting up at 9 kills, really helping carry Vitro through this matchup. So ideally for the side of Trovo Mayhem, you'd like to see, for example, Little B get a pick onto Tomb, and that would almost, based on how this game has gone so far, that would almost secure a Trovo Mayhem round victory. But honestly, Tomb is just playing incredibly well with his rotations. He's taking really strong corners, which is enabling him to win a lot of gunfights. And honestly, just overall playing this map incredibly solid. As we can see there, gets the call out from his team, peeks the corner, finds the kill on the Jesus Can Save You, or Jesus Saves You. And everything just went poor for the side of Vitro from there, as we have a bomb defuse and a team wipe for the side of Trovo Mayhem, now up 5-1. And that cushion just got a little bit cushier, Bobby, as they now only need to pick up 1 out of the next five rounds.
Yeah, right now things. I mean, I feel bad for Tomb because this man is just going in right now, but his entire rest of the team has as many kills as he does by himself. So typically, that's not a great spot to be in, especially against as many experienced players as Trovo Mayhem has. We do actually have Tectonic getting taken out off the start, but Tomb is out as well. Little B is going to drop. Honestly, not a bad spot for Vitro to be. Sped's going to take out Legacy. Now a 2v4. Jesus saves. Ooh, and very nearly a huge opportunity for Nero, but Scott able to return fire in time. Jesus saves you. Now in need of a 1v3. Let's see if he can make it happen. Makes the rotation on into Grandma's right here. Looking for the beam. Not going to spot anybody as time continues to dwindle. 28 seconds to work with. Somebody proning in the back alley right here. And that was the perfect play for Parallel, as that does allow Vitro to stay alive just a little bit longer.
Yeah, they definitely needed it. There's still a possibility with Tomb playing the way he is that they could push us all the way to the end, potentially into a Game 11 win, but they cannot afford to make a mistake, and they certainly cannot afford to lose Tomb here, because honestly, he's the only reason they won or still in this game. I mean, granted, it was mostly Scott and Parallel in that last round. Oh, man. Oh, that's not good. that's going to be lights out for Vitro there,
that
unfortunately.
Ended quickly.
Yeah, it did.
I saw Little B got a 2-piece. I was like, oh, there's a couple more people alive, and then the game ended. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, those couple people that were alive had like 5 health and were hiding in a corner. So not a great position for Vitro to be in. That is going to be the Trovo Mayhem coming through with a 6-2 win. But, you know, again, Vitro put up a much better fight here against what I would consider to be a tougher set of opponents. And Tomb specifically, we're gonna have to keep an eye out for this guy in our future matchups, because again, just based on the players we have on the Trovo Mayhem, I would consider this to have been their toughest matchup yet. And I mean, they got pretty heftily swept in previous games. I believe Shreddit and Zygnus we've seen them play. So to come through with such a strong hardpoint performance against Trovo Mayhem, it as well as they put up a good fight for a 6-2 win for Trovo Mayhem. Tomb, Scott, and Parallel had really clutch plays that I would like to see this team develop a little bit more. I don't want to put them in the upper half, but I think they could move to the middle if they're able to keep refining their skills.
Yeah, that was definitely a big step up as compared to what they did on Thursday. So props to them for giving Trovo Mayhem a run for their money, and definitely excited to see both of these teams continue to evolve. But that's going to be our last matchup of the night, rounding things out nice and on time at 10 o'clock. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I promise you I will not be at this setup anymore. This is a one-time thing, and hopefully starting tomorrow we will be in the new one once my internet gets set up and everything else. But that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you to Dave for casting with me, to our admins, and Sylvia for facilitating everything on the back end, and as always to the players for playing the game. That's going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Show us some love to whoever we raid, and we will see you guys in